Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Sports Report After Dark. I am your host, Seven. Dan is waiting in the wings, ready as we dive in. We have a lot to talk about tonight, including an umpire who is now out of a job. Ja Morant has been suspended, and a couple of other things we're going to talk about here, including Aaron Rodgers tonight. Before we dive in, though, I do want to make sure to give a special thank you to our sponsor, Gunslinger Soap. Gunslinger Soap is handmade soaps and beard products made without all of the junk to pamper your skin. You can go to their website right now, gunslingersoap.com, and sign up to get 15% off your first order and always free shipping over $30. That's gunslingersoap.com. Definitely check them out. And, of course, as always, the biggest dick in sports. He is the biggest dick in sports. He does not have the biggest dick in sports.
I mean, duh. Like, fucking duh, Tony. Like, you seen these guys that play in the NBA? Like, fucking duh. Duh, right? Like,
everybody. I mean, you're no Chris Jones. Oh, my dick fell out.
Oh, my dick came out. It's like a baby's arm holding an apple.
A baby's arm holding Oh, good God. Oh, we are horrible people. For those of you that are new to After Dark, please be advised. We get dirty, we get offensive, and we really don't give a fuck. If you're checking us out, we appreciate you, but if the kids are around, put the headphones on or wait till they go to bed. Because otherwise they're going to learn some new words, and I teach enough bad words to my kids. I don't need to teach one to yours too.
I mean...
So, good.
Right. I mean, good thing is we had a long conversation about rape today already, so that's what we'll get that out of our systems. We like to just have those during the day just so we don't have to get it out, on the air.
Yeah, the bad stuff, the stuff that you guys don't hear is 1,000 times worse than what actually comes out on the podcast. Because, I mean, we do understand there are some things we can't joke about, like the New York Ninja Bockers. Gotta be careful.
That's drawing. Hey, the only thing about that, and this is all I'll say, it's not even basketball. It's not even fantasy basketball.
I know. It
gets me.
Some people.
That dude wanted to use that name. That's all I'm saying. Will.
Yeah. It was meant as a joke, but it was one of those that has a sense of humor like ours. If you and that's and honestly, like, there's stuff that we won't joke about, but think about the people that don't joke about the stuff that we joke about. So, like, there's lines. Everybody has their own. And
you get what I'm saying, though. Like,
oh yeah.
If it's not basketball, right? Like, Will actually said it. It's not basketball, so it doesn't make any sense. It's almost like you were saving that up to use it. That's all I'm saying.
That was actually the second one. The first one was even worse. Like, legitimately worse.
Not only saving that one, has a list of ones that he's saving. Just so that's why it's like, yes. That's why I think Will was trying to say that.
I told Will after, like, everybody left the other night. I told him, like, man, you know what? I understand why you're mad. I said, I know the person. It wouldn't have stuck around. I would have said something if I didn't know the person. Because, like you talk about, regardless of what you say, intent and the actual person matter. And
right.
Some people can just make a bad joke. We've seen that doing comedy. Like, there are plenty of people that I've heard make offensive jokes, but I know that person away from the stage, and they're not anywhere near the type of person that you would think they're not anywhere near the type of person that would be what that joke was associated with. So it's like,
right. Plus, like, not even funny.
And well, and
not original.
Comedy is subjective. But I would bet that name is what they hear when they go to Boston. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, not original at all.
Not
like
original.
A bunch of guys from Boston had already thought of that, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, it's
like make it funny and make it original, and then I'm probably on board. All right. But
like what you did with NWA, like that there is under zero other circumstances would that joke have flown and not caused a problem.
Right.
Just
right.
Perfection.
Yeah. I have like when that word comes out of my mouth, it's meaningful. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, and let's just for the record, Will. See, that's also called perfect placement, Tony.
It really is. It really is.
Just, hey, why don't we just go ahead and tip the red line just right when we start out tonight? We're not even 10 minutes in.
Not even 10 minutes in. Okay, so
I found my Yankees hat.
Tonight. We're gonna.
Do you like it?
I like the Yankees hat. It's a good looking hat. So you remember Chris Dion from Cheddar's, the shorter manager, the one that was really short, Star Wars nerd.
I really don't. I worked there for like 3 hours.
That's true. Okay.
I'm gonna go get some.
After I work here, I became friends with him. He used to come to comedy shows and stuff. He was a really good guy. He's in Boston right now for St. Patrick's Day. Like they're doing drop kick shows. Like they're doing it up. And he sent me.
So he's a little Irish guy.
Yeah. He sent me pictures. They were at Fenway today, and I was like, if the team store's open, if you will go in and buy me a 7 7/8 hat so that I can have one that actually fucking fits from their team store in Fenway, I'll pay you for it and I'll buy you an extra pint. Like. I just want a hat directly from the store. Like that's all I'm asking.
And did you get one?
I'll have it in a week.
Nice. Good call. Hey,
he said he's going to try and get back because he was already gone when he sent me the pictures, but he said he's going to try and get back in and get it to me. So as long as everything works out, I'll have it in a week. And
what's his last name?
Dion.
Okay. So I remember who you're talking about now. Mr. Dion, I apologize for my 3 hours that I worked at your restaurant.
There were so many people that did that shit, dude. He probably doesn't even remember you.
Right. No. He does because they use the phrase. I'm gonna go get some lettuce, and that's when they're gonna leave. Remember?
Yeah.
It's like, and is it lettuce? No, it's not lettuce. It's fucking something else. I can't remember what it is.
It was
onions or something like that. They get some onions. That's when they're gonna leave. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're going to talk about Ja Morant because there has been more to the story as it's developed. I think there's some things that, especially with where we're at now, we can talk a little deeper about this. But before we talk about Ja Morant, I want to open with this. This one's a little bit more just interesting and funny, I think. So I'm going to show you a video of a Mississippi State or Mississippi Valley State versus New Orleans college baseball game. This happened, I believe it was Monday. I believe it was Monday. I could be a little wrong on the date, but I'm going to share this, and I'm going to share this video, and I want you to watch it, and I want you to tell me what you think.
Big gamble to take in the ninth. 1-1 called a strike.
This is in my professional opinion, of course.
Oh my.
I understand why you came to me. Thank you. That's down and in. Pretty.
Just wait.
1-2 coming. It's down. Oh my gosh! Wow! He got rung up on ball 2, and the game is over.
Just a bit outside. Ball 4. Ball 8. Yeah, that was clearly. I mean, clearly you just saw what happened, right? You saw what actually happened.
Yeah. So for those of you that may be listening and not watching, in the video, Mississippi Valley batter takes a low ball that should have been a strike, or takes a low strike that should have been called a ball. It was low. And then and that was strike 2. And then the very next pitch, and he proceeds to jump around in frustration for a second before getting, righting himself, getting back in the box. understandably frustrated, but showed it quite a bit. And I think that's going to play into this here because strike 3 was low and so far outside, it was already in its jacket on its way to the car.
The catcher has to leave his position. He has to literally almost jump in front of this ball.
He was almost
diving it out of the dirt.
Right. It was a pick.
He does catch it, but that's a good catch by a catcher. Like he's not just standing in there like, hey, strike 3, duh. It's legitimately a foot and a half outside. And it's clearly just because it's legitimately a foot out, and it's clearly because the fucking umpire was pissed that they were showing him up. Right. That's clearly what it was. And probably been doing it the whole game. On every call, we're probably on him about it.
So the next day after this game, ESPN announced that the NCAA or whoever governs these decisions for the college baseball games suspended that umpire indefinitely.
Good.
So yeah. For me, obviously, I think it's an understandable thing, but and obviously we can agree that chances are the reason why the umpire did that was because of the kid's reaction to strike 2. So my first thought on this is, I want to get your take on this thought. If the umpire legitimately had a problem with how the kid responded to the strike call, with it being low and him still calling it a strike, the catcher was trying to frame it, small benefit of the doubt there. Why didn't the ump just throw the kid out? That's my question.
Right. Because making the team lose on a ridiculous foot and a half outside call is probably more satisfying at the time. And that's why he shouldn't be an umpire.
They were probably already, and realistically, Mississippi Valley State was probably already going to lose if you didn't see the score there. They were down 7-3. So it's not like the odds of them pulling this out were super fucking great. But that umpire, and this is the thing, and this is why I'm thankful that this guy was suspended. Umpires are human. When they make mistakes, they need to be held accountable for the mistake. The umpire very clearly made a mistake. Regardless of the kid's reaction, which I think we're still going to talk about, regardless of the kid's reaction, the umpire made a mistake and was held accountable for the mistake. Why is that not a more consistent experience in not just baseball, but professional sports?
Tony, just to rephrase real quick, a mistake, that was no mistake. That man knew that. Guys, this is
he made the mistake of making the petty decision. That's what I mean by mistake. Now, obviously, it was very clearly outside. That wasn't just a bad eye, Angel Hernandez would have called that a ball. Now, Angel, yes. the pitch before, I could also see Angel Hernandez calling a strike. So
can we watch it one more time? Just the first pitch. Can I just see the first one? Because I missed the first one a little bit. And I think that the first one's not that bad. It's pretty bad. It's 6 inches off the plate down and inside, if I remember, I think. But they were hounding that dude the whole fucking game. I guarantee they're on. If you go back and watch the whole game, I bet they're on that motherfucker the whole time. And he just heat of the moment. It's the same as being an athlete, honestly. You're in there with them, and sometimes you're not going to be able to be yelled in your face the whole time and just basically said that you suck the whole game.
Okay, so I want to make sure it's up there. Okay.
Big gamble to take in the ninth. 1-1.
That's low.
It was,
but it's not terrible.
Oh my. Mims is showing where the pitch was.
It was.
So here's my thing. So let's talk about this before we go on to the second pitch and talk about that part again. The kid reacts because he really clearly passionately felt that was low, that was low. Regardless of what the call was, he reacted that way because is that too much? We understand our players we advocate for players being human, but where is that line? Did he cross that line here? What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. But because it was so knee jerk, you could tell. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do it he didn't think about it and then go back and try and show the guy up. He was just he was literally reacting to it that's understandable. And yes, is it too much? But yes, can we blame the dude for it? No. They're just, look at all the motherfuckers. People listening can't see it, but all the dudes in the background of the other team are just on the edge of the dugout, dude. Probably yelling at this motherfucker. They're probably barking between both. You could tell kind of in the game that they were kind of like going at it a little bit. That just had that energy to it. And you could look at them, they're all like laughing and shit. Like this dude was pumped up, man. The guy at the plate is pumped up.
He was super pumped up.
And college baseball is, obviously, much like college football is to the NFL. It's more what's the word I'm looking for? It's like more connected as far as like they're doing it for the love of the game, right? Like, and yes, obviously people, like love of the game stuff is in the NFL and the NBA, obviously, but like in Major League Baseball, but like this is just kind of a different thing, and I feel like they get chippier like really fast in college because these dudes are just like absolutely almost every one of them is willing to throw down. Would you agree? Like they're just kind of wanting to at some point.
And I think you're right though, because in college sports, like you're and especially if you're in a college team in baseball, kind of like with basketball, if you're on a college team, you're in a rough position because a lot of guys, most of the guys that are legitimate and going to go pro, they were drafted out of high school.
Yeah.
And that's and that's the thing. And so, in baseball, like it's got to be. I didn't make it to that level in baseball, but I would have to think that in that it's got to be tense because, especially at like a low end D1 school like Mississippi Valley State, because it's a D1 school, but it's low end. Like, how are you going to get seen? How are you going to get onto the draft boards?
Right. And almost like this could be your last game too. That same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're on like, this could be the last time you ever play baseball, basically. Like they're like, these guys might know like most of them, because statistically, yeah, most of them, there's like 12 dudes in this picture. One of them will play on a major league roster, probably, right? Something like that. One of them
will make a AAA roster.
Right. Think. And then maybe get to the show.
Maybe get a September call chance.
So I guess point we're trying to make is like things are tense. All right.
Yeah.
Things are tense. Like,
and that's why I said, was it over the top? Absolutely. Absolutely was it over the top. But that's also why I can't blame him. Because with that tense of an energy, you've got all these expectations on yourself. Looks like the young man is African American. If he's one of those where he's trying to get to pro sports to get his family out of a poor situation, then he could feel like he's got a lot more. That's more pressure.
That's your life, is what it feels like.
That's your life. This kid's playing for. This kid could be, in his mind, he's playing for his life, and so any slight that prevents him, because as athletes, we all know if we legitimately do something, and the team fails. Like, if we legitimately do something, make a mistake, and the team fails, like, it's easy to process that because you know what happened. But when officiating starts to cloud it, it makes it harder to I feel like sometimes it makes it harder to accept the loss and process the loss and get to the point where you can learn from it.
Right. Because it's like I fought this hard to get to this point, and then something I literally can't control is going to derail that. You know what I'm saying? Or like be a huge wrench in that thing.
And then you add in, and then for me, and this is why I call for more accountability when it comes to officials, is because most of the time, like, this young man can actually sit there and recognize that this ump got called out on his bullshit. That ump got suspended indefinitely, not going to get to call a game again behind the plate at the college level.
For sure.
And so
working for me, Tony, in the old Fall City Summer Rec League.
Exactly.
I'll be over there with a clipboard if they're allowing me to oversee him.
Exactly. Whereas when you have situations like, the officiating issues in the Super Bowl, Yes, I'm a Chiefs fan, but hey, you know what? Let's talk about that. You don't very often with officiating in professional sports, you don't get a resolution on that official being held accountable for the things that they did that they shouldn't have done. You know, how does Angel Hernandez still have the ability to umpire MLB baseball? How is Angel Hernandez one of the league representatives for the umpires in the World Baseball Classic?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That makes zero fucking sense to me, bro.
Like, he's got something on him.
He's got to be the Dan Snyder of MLB, man, with all of the shit he's got on owners,
right?
And, like umpire association, maybe the MLBPA. Like I don't know if he's got a picture of Yadier Molina in a tutu or something that's keeping him in his position. Like
it's a lot of old white man penises on 8x10s that were sent by cell phone. That's most of what it is. Okay. So like that's probably 90% is just big 8x10 printouts of a dick pic.
We're talking about a guy who sued major leagues, sued the MLB, claiming that the reason he did not get the opportunity to crew chief was because they were holding him back because of his race.
Oh, buddy, it's it is because he's Dominican. It is. I've always thought his strike zone was right down the middle. I've felt it was fair, and I don't know. Do you think that all the rest of the umpires are like, yeah, let Angel go, man. He's a free swinger. They're just like, he likes to just kind of do his own thing. Like, we don't really like, what about Angel Hernandez's strike zone? They're like, yeah, he doesn't listen to us when we tell him. So we just stop trying. And everyone just lets him show up still. He just like comes in. He's like the crew chief and shit. Like, nobody really tells him that it's fucking weird that he just switches up all the time.
And that's,
they have a standard.
And this is what bugs me about it is, you know, or the record that Scott Foster has with Chris Paul. Now, don't get me wrong, Chris Paul's not perfect, but Scott Foster looks like, you know how like if bathhouses were still a thing in America, I think Scott Foster would be the guy that you would think of as the model on the ad. Like, that's what he looks like to me.
Yes, the breeding ground of the 90s for many gay men.
I'm not necessarily trying to say this in a negative light. All I'm saying is Scott Foster has been to the Bunny Ranch and the Alien Cat House in Nevada enough times that each spot just keeps a room for him.
Every time he's coming to the Bunny Ranch, the bunnies like looking at each other like, oh my God, fucking Scott is coming. That's kind of the kind of guy he is.
At least it's $1,000 an hour to say his 2 inches.
Exactly. They're like he has so much money though. Yeah, the guy's an asshole.
I just, man, I understand that it adds an element of content discussion to professional sports when you have these things, but this is why you get things. This is why you have people advocating for so much more review. This is why you have people advocating for robot strike zones in the major leagues. Like,
these two guys, Angel and this guy, are like fucking poster children for like the future AI referees, AI umpires. And they're like showing all pictures of like, yay, Angel Hernandez doesn't do a good job. AI umpire does an awesome job. 100% accuracy. Yeah, for real. Like, it's that. I mean, what human element could there be that couldn't be covered, let's just say, just in like umpires of baseball? What human element is there from a behind the, like, we'll just go behind the plate because that'll be the most important one, right? What human element can that AI not simulate at this point if it's got all the sensors and everything that it can possibly have?
I think honestly, the human element that still needs to be there is checking is the runner safe or not. Because I think the technology could exist at some point in the future where all of that can be completely read as far as positioning and who did what first. But I think with the way that kind of technology is right now, you still need umps to make the call for whether or not a runner was safe.
I completely agree. And I get what you're getting at, because there's like a nuance kind of to like, you know what I'm saying? Because if you literally let an AI do that, at some point that dude probably came off the bag for just like a 10th split, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just split little second, but like you can tell that he's safe, like in the play. Like a human would be like, yes, that guy was safe, but like maybe he came off the bag just a tiny bit, you know, when he was sliding. And like that AI ump is going to call him out because the guy's going to have his glove on him, and this dude's going to just leave the bag for like a 10th of a second that you would never see, and it's going to be like, yeah, I was out because of this part right here. They'll be like, oh fuck, like this guy is on it, like almost too, you know what I'm saying, like almost too accurate to the point where like, yeah, maybe he did get tagged, but like that's clearly a safe call. I get what you're saying. So that'd be the human.
It's and that's the thing, is that's why I think the human element still exists for that, but the well, I mean, yeah, because you got a couple runners safe at home, so you still have an ump back there, but I think that the robot strike zone, and then the ump is still going to have to make the calls on check swings, because batters aren't going to want any sensors in their bats, and you would need to have sensors in the bat for any kind of technology to read that. So I think you're still going to have umpires for bases and check swing calls. But go ahead.
Hang on real quick. So I just had a question. If you have like sensors and everything for like now we're getting into like some AI shit about we probably don't know about. But like if you're getting into sensors and stuff, like can this thing not just map its environment back there? Like is it even on the field actually? You know what I'm saying? Like do they just do it from like a if you step into this box, we can read everything that happens inside of it within millis, you know what I'm saying? Like so like if when a ball gets tipped in anything, they figure it out exactly what the angle was and everything just from a reading, basically. Does that make sense? I think that's what it is, isn't it? Or no?
Right. There are already some computer senses and models and stuff like that can use camera information. That's because you'll see like the hit arc in the replay after a home run, where they have the ribbon with it where you can follow it, or like on golf. Golf is when my Martha's grandma has been watching a lot of golf. So we just went over the other day, and she was watching. We watched Jordan Spieth win the Players Championship. I love that course. It's an amazing course out of Miami.
Oh my god!
But I was watching him. We were watching him win, and they'd hit a drive, and you'd have that ribbon, like not long after, showing where the shot went, how it arced, and the bend and everything like that, and the actual flight path of the ball. So there's already some of that mapping involved that they use based on camera angles and stuff like that to see, and the computer puts it together real quick. But I think that there are still things that are going to need to happen for base calls and check swings to be able to be detected by AI.
You just don't think they're there yet, as far as like I don't think they are either. Because that seems like what I said when I said it out loud. I was like, "Fuck!" That seems like it's like that'd be some pretty high tech. But like Major League Baseball can afford it. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's not like the money's not on the table, especially because they're going back to there's Bally Sports. 18 of Bally Sports' regional networks filed for bankruptcy. They are the NBA and Major League Baseball are keeping the networks going for broadcasting games, because like one of the ones that is going under is Bally Sports Arizona. They show a lot of Suns games. They show a lot of D-backs games. So there's that there. The leagues are keeping them going for now, but Major League Baseball is actually planning to completely take over broadcasting and start their own regional networks if they need to, because the restructuring doesn't solve the problem, and there's still a cash flow issue.
I saw that actually on your page, I think on Facebook the other day. One of those Arizona groups was talking about how, yeah, like, oh, I can't watch this game or here or there. And it was like, because a bunch of networks got shut down. Bally's, they're hurting for it when they're trying to give me like $40 of free play a day. That's not a good thing. I think the casinos are kind of, I know it's connected together now, obviously, because they have like all the sports. Like the Bally's here in Kansas City has it's like a sports room, before you walk into the actual casino. So like it's like so intertwined with that, I think. And like it doesn't seem like the whole place was going well. And you just said that 15 of them?
18.
18 out of how many?
Probably I can't remember, but yeah, it was like 18 regional networks filed for bankruptcy, debt restructuring, stuff like that. So it's, I mean, and the other thing to think about is that's 18 regional networks. That's a couple thousand people just on the network side. That's a couple thousand people at least that could be out of jobs if those networks fold. Now, I would assume that the network that rises in its place that I'm assuming NBA and MLB are working on together. They would try to employ as many of those people as possible, but
not all of them are going to get employed.
I mean, not all of them are getting employed. That's jobs in the entertainment business are hard to come by,
right?
Especially a network job that ends up being consistent. Like
Bally's, which wasn't like a low, they're not the biggest of, the sports betting companies. They're like, they're just basically the betting companies in general. Obviously, there's casino wise, it's not even close, but
I think Fox has to buy it. Honestly, I think Fox has to buy it back because either Fox or NBC has to buy it. I think if NBC really wanted to, and this is a legitimate thing. I was thinking about this today. If NBC really wanted to make headway in the sports market where the most consistent TV money is now, live sports is where most consistent TV money is now. It's not in sitcoms and primetime TV anymore. Nobody gives a fuck about that because they can watch it whenever they want online.
Yep.
Sports, especially primetime sports, is where your money's at because the advertisers want to get in on it because people still watch it.
And it's live.
And it's live. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have I think if NBC really wanted to actually get back into that market, which they should, if they want to stay profitable, you buy them up. You buy them up and you take it over. Because one Sunday night football game, 15 weeks a year, 14 weeks a year, whatever they get, and sometimes you get a playoff game, sometimes you get the Super Bowl every 3 or 4 years.
Right.
ABC and CBS are kicking their ass when it comes to the sports content because at best you get some golf on NBC.
Yeah, it's every Sunday.
Right. So it's like
you get a different weird Hawaii pack-in amateur pro tourney and that's Waikiki.
Oh, and maybe or some bull riding or something. Like they need to. I think that they would be very well served to scoop in and pick that up as a way to bring some money in, and then you push the hell out of that sports betting because there is so much goddamn money in that industry. You would be stupid not to.
That's what I was going to ask you. How much do you think of this is involved with them? Because when I think Bally's, dude, obviously I like to go to casinos, but like when I think Bally's, I don't think of sports or like sports betting. I think of casinos. You know what I'm saying? Right. How much do you think gets that into the major? Because like they're like, we don't need to be in that whole gambling thing because that our demographic may not let. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that really, I think that really probably is a factor.
I think every sports network has to embrace sports betting because that is so much more of the experience of live sports today. Like, I mean, and you know this, like you're sitting at a spot where you're watching a game, whether it's at the game or you're at a bar, at a casino, you're at home if you're in a state where it's legal, and you're sitting there and you're like, oh, well, you know what? I bet you in the second quarter, this person can do this or, whatever. Boston can win the third inning. You're going to have these players up, make your bets, and it helps draw interest in the game. That's why I think it's one of the reasons why baseball is embracing sports betting so much, is because it adds another element to the experience for the fans. Because most MLB stadiums, like any MLB stadium where sports betting is legal in that state, the stadium has a sports book.
Absolutely.
And so, go ahead.
Yeah, they just know too, like that. Okay, so like you get a Yankees Red Sox game. That network knows that they're going to get Yankees and Red Sox fans watching that game, correct? Where they're going to make their most money and their viewership is between those sway people who are just like baseball fans who don't like the Yankees or the Red Sox, right? Who don't root for them, but are going to watch the game and continue to watch the game. And sports betting is integral in those people staying on that network to watch that game. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
We know as sports fans, we click through fucking different sports all the time, right? Like, oh, what am I trying to watch tonight? Like, what's the biggest thing that's on?
What's
whatever.
on?
Like, if I have a bet on something, I'm watching that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's a normal night, yeah, that's what I'm going to be watching. So like, that's what station I'll be on, and that'll be, because we are the wayward sports fan a lot of time, right? Like we don't really have a horse in the game, like no pun intended. Like we don't really have a horse in there, and we're like, all right, we'll just make a random bet on something, and it's so much fun, guys. Yes, don't call 1-888 bets off. Use the sports betting. It's fun.
I mean, now obviously, yes. If you have issues with gambling and you don't know when to stop, don't start.
I mean, just
don't start.
Suck it up and
don't be stupid.
Take your next paycheck. Put that whole motherfucker in there. Just because the more money you put in, the more chance you have to win, Tony. The views of this network are not related on. I don't know.
The views of the individuals expressed on this network do not necessarily reflect the views and values of the sports.
And I did not disseminate. Tony. I did not disseminate anything. For the record. Allegedly.
For the record. Allegedly.
Somebody tell me what that means.
It's and that's I seriously if NBC was smart, they would buy up those Bally networks and take over that sector, and that's consistent NBA and MLB business. Make it more efficient, because Bally was doing something they shouldn't have. So
yeah,
I mean, clearly,
yeah,
so
right.
You make the business more efficient, fix what you need to fix. You're going to take a loss for a couple of years until you can renegotiate a couple of your fucking TV deals with a couple of your teams. It's going to happen. Just take it.
Yeah.
But focus on getting it back to where it should be. And then in the long run, you'll get your money.
Absolutely. Bally's might have fucked up where like, doesn't it seem like the Bally's is like the kind of place where like they still break people's hands for counting cards and shit?
I've never been into an actual Bally. I've never been into an actual Bally sportsbook. Because out here, like the sports books, like there's a Caesar sportsbook in, I believe the Caesar sportsbook is in the D-back stadium, and then there's a FanDuel sportsbook right across the street. There's because the Suns, the stadium where the D-backs play and the arena where the Suns play are within a block of each other, like literally. They're right downtown. And so there's two sports books right there. And then each of the casinos has one, and there's probably 5 casinos down here. I think one of them has a Barstool sports book. I'm pretty sure they have one down here somewhere.
They're just everywhere, basically.
Yeah. It's and off-track betting has been legal in Arizona for a while. Like there's some bars you can go into and sit in the bar and drink and watch horse racing and make bets.
Right.
Well, they're starting to get licensing for them to be able to do sports betting as well. Like what's funny, there's a horse racing track that's less than a mile from my apartment, and they now have a sports book there too.
Wow. I don't quote me on this, but I believe some form of gambling is now legal in Nebraska. They have casinos here. There's like one, but like still like there's one in Lincoln. Yeah, I think there's just like one, but like yeah, well it's legal in Iowa, so you have to go across the. But I think it's legal now here. So I'll have to check out the actual sports betting side of that because I love how the apps, whenever you have them, they're like, you're not in the right area code. I'm like, damn it, phone. Why do you know where I am? I'm trying to make a sports bet here. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
but once you actually get into Kansas, you can make a sports bet. You just have to drive 20 minutes to get there.
You have to like go sit there, go right across the state line, just make a bet, drive back over. Like, fuck, I forgot one. Go back over.
You see, I just moved out. You see, like if I was living in St. Joe and that happened and I was like, I really want to get into sports betting, I'd just buy a house in Elwood and move to Elwood.
Just get you a camper, Tony. Just get you a camper. You fit right in Elwood. Sorry for anybody who's watching from Elwood. You fit right in there. Just get you a camper.
A strong following in Elwood, you know.
Elwood. Great place. Never actually been there. I just more of a drive-through type of town.
Drive-through, windows up, don't stop.
Pretty much. I mean, you just drive past it.
Drive past it.
You really don't even know it's there.
You don't realize it's a town until he says thank you. Thank you for visiting Elwood. And you're like, that was a town.
Well, it's like covered in an Air Force Rosecrans Air Force base. So it's like literally like the whole thing, and then there's like a town around it that people just a lot of them work for the Air Force base because it covers their whole fucking city. I mean, it makes sense. You just work there. But good people. Elwood. Never met anybody from Elwood. I have no frame of reference, but yeah. So all right. That's where I drive to, Tony. When I need to make a legal sports bet.
You probably just stay at home for the illegal ones, though.
Well, I mean, there's no bookies around here. Come on. It's snowing outside right now, Tony. It's March.
Yeah, my mom said she was getting snow. She's down in Wichita. I thought that was funny.
That is kind of funny. What the fuck is it doing down there? Isn't it like 70 there still? It's just somehow it's just
it was the other day.
Yeah, I mean, it does it. It'll do it. It'll be like 45 degrees. Like, how is this still frozen? Doesn't stuff freeze at 32 degrees? It's like 45 degrees outside. I'm like, why is it snowing? Doesn't make any sense. But, how's that Arizona weather going for you? Did you guys have a 55 you guys had to endure the other day?
Actually, we get rain. The storm that you guys are getting,
oh my gosh,
we had it first. So but we got rain.
Rough. Some light showers before the sun comes back out.
50s last couple of days. Today it was nice. It was like,
are you guys okay? The family okay? Everybody's all right?
It was. I mean, it was close. We were gonna start having to burn stuff soon because it was so cold.
You had the books ready with the fireplace. You're like, I don't think I can. We got to heat it somehow.
Books? No, I was just gonna burn bills.
Yes,
just pay it if it burns. No.
I have an extensive paper collection. I'm ready to burn. It's dire down here in Arizona. Yeah, that must be rough, man.
Summons and garnishment notices. I don't know.
Things that I should probably be reading.
W-2s for taxes I never filed.
Yeah, having a reminder, some kind of thing. I should not be destroying these by burning. Well, hey, it's one way to escape the problems.
Declaration of Independence? No. Okay, so let's talk about Ja Morant. Ja had checked in last week to a rehab facility down in Miami. Left on Tuesday. NBA announced the suspension was going to be 8 games. He is getting credit for the time that he has already been out, so he can return as soon as Monday. Mosley said that it wasn't going to, pretty much. Memphis did say it doesn't look like he's going to start Monday. They're going to make sure to give him time to get back into basketball shape, and then go from there. So we'll start with the 8 games. I feel like he's lucky that it wasn't more. I almost kind of feel like maybe this isn't because he's a star that he got a little bit more. No, because let's think about this. If it was some nobody, let me explain this, okay? Because the speculation about the gun being the key piece here. You bring a gun into a team facility, it's automatic 50 games. So if the gun is Jaws, which it's reasonable to believe, he should get 50 games. But he gets 8, and they're like, well, we're not sure if it was his or if he just had somebody's gun.
They weren't sure where he was at.
Drunk. Right. And that's the thing. Like, and they know what he was in a strip club is where he was. They know what strip club it was. It was called Shotgun Willie's, I believe is the name of it. Shannon Sharp knew it very well.
But he did. All the ladies there like, yay, Shannon's coming.
And then later they're like, oh no, Shannon's coming.
No, Shannon. It's just a river of
This is what happens when you eat too much protein. No, it's so everywhere. No,
exactly like a horse. Exactly, if you've ever seen that happen, exactly like that. It's literally the same. It's you can just put them right next to each other. It's the same thing.
Just right next to each other.
It looks exactly like it. Jesus, we really screwed offline there.
So Memphis says he's going to take time away. And they say they're going to suspend him 2 games. And they extend it to 4. And, but there's no timetable. He goes and gets help. But if that's a bench guy that goes viral for flashing a gun in an Instagram video, are you telling me they only get 8 games?
Probably.
Especially when you look at all of the other issues that we have with Josh's track record. It's just over the last couple of years. You have the fight with the 17-year-old in the pickup game. You have the police report for the altercation at the mall. There was another incident that they were talking about with at his sister's volleyball game. The issue with the Pacers. Like, there's a lot of things here. He lost that Powerade deal because of this. Or it's suspended.
Hey, Tony, I dare you, if we ever meet Ja Morant, to be like, hey, you remember that suspension that you got? We called that time served, and then start explaining to him what time served means in like prison jail sentence. Like, oh yeah, so time served is like when you're in jail. Like he doesn't know. Be like, yeah, sorry, dude. I just figured you.
You want me to white-splain time served to a black athlete?
Yes, absolutely. Because I think it's hilarious because he went to a private school. He's never been in jail.
You know what? That's I.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I'm still gonna get beat up if I do that.
That's why I dared you. Duh.
If you want to see me get punched in the face by a big black guy, just have a big black guy punch me in the face. Like, don't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll do that too. But like, this will be good. This will be good as well. No, yeah, that's why I double dog dared you.
But I mean, this is a legitimate question. Is Ja getting preferential treatment because of the fact that he's already considered an elite talent in the NBA?
Yes. Yes. Duh. And like, it might have been like 12 games if it was a bench guy, but like nobody gives a shit. He doesn't play anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so like what?
Right.
So no, it wouldn't even like, yeah, it might have been like a little thing. This just happens to be one of the biggest superstars in the NBA, who's apparently doing this shit. I just saw a headline that said Memphis and Ja Morant will move forward together. And I was like, oh my good God. Like, what in the fuck is going on right now? What do you go to rehab for? What do you go? Anybody know?
He said he was help with stress. And that's the thing, this is the part that I don't understand. And like, and especially with your experience, how many people check into a rehab facility and check out less than a week later and are suddenly better?
Are suddenly better? How many people do?
Yeah, and they're good. Yeah, okay. So
0.
My thing is, this is where I'm at, okay? And because I really thought about this, and any help that Ja gets, I'm all for. I'm not going to criticize it. But when I think about the success of what he's doing, which is where I'm judging this on, I'm not judging Ja specifically. This is one of two things. Either the facility he went to wasn't just a rehab and he was actually getting psychiatric help for the struggles that he's been dealing with. And, getting checked into a psych ward because you need help. That could be a few days. It could be a few weeks. So the shorter timeline isn't out of character for that type of a situation. But if this is just a rehab facility and he was checking in for an addiction to something, even if it's alcohol, I would think the stay should be longer because it's going to take more to get the foundation built that he's going to need to be successful when he gets back into the outside world. Am I wrong here?
You're not wrong at all. And I honestly don't think Ja has I'm speculating.
Speculation.
Speculation. This is total speculation. That he doesn't have a drug problem. I don't think, does he do drugs? He probably smokes weed. Definitely.
Which that's not a problem in the NBA anymore. So
exactly.
We don't even have to worry about that.
It's hard for NBA guys or any professional athlete really to be alcoholics because they have to obviously be athletically in great shape, and obviously being an alcoholic and being in fantastic physical shape don't usually go hand in hand.
Right, and that was one of the things that because it's supposed to be a rehab facility about addiction treatment. That's why you have to wonder about that. But when it comes to drug addiction, those guys get tested.
Right.
The NBA doesn't play around that stuff. Yes, you can smoke weed, but those guys still get randomly tested, not just for steroids. They're testing them for drugs too.
Right.
Because so I guess every CBA has a drug abuse section on it for if you test positive for something like, let's say, coke or heroin or whatever, you have to go through a treatment program.
Right.
That's mandated in the CBA.
Probably get suspended too, right?
And there's suspension involved, which basically the suspension is for the rehab treatment. But
right.
And you have to be able to prove that you're going to be clean and stay clean. You get more random testing and stuff like that for a while. So that's why, unless he had a drinking problem, that's the only addiction that makes sense.
And does he drink? Probably. He's hanging out. He's going to strip clubs and things like that, obviously on a regular basis. So he's obviously drinking alcohol. But,
and the allegations from the Instagram video a couple of weeks ago, he was drunk when he did that. So obviously I stand corrected. There's no evidence on whether or not he was. There's no way to prove whether or not he was. There were people drinking around him, but there's no proof that he was drinking. He wasn't like, woo! Right. So, So I need to correct my statement on that. And, so for me, the drinking would be the only other thing, but you and I both know from the environments that we've come from that it's really hard to be athletic and an alcoholic because that shit does weigh you down.
Yeah. The next day, I got to go to fucking what? Practice? What? Practice, man? We talking about practice, man? A great many of good deeds has been done by drunk athletes, okay? But don't let me discredit that. We got the Allen Iverson practice speech. We got Donald Sterling. Donald Sterling was too old to drink. He was too old to drink. He just he had fetuses at that point. Yeah, Rodman. Yeah, Rodman all the time.
I would say I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan didn't play multiple games drunk. Rodman had to have played multiple games drunk and high. Pippen, yeah, pretty much always drunk. Oh my god, that's so funny, dude. Hey, for that actually just adds to the lure, though. That's part of the fucking the gospel. The old Bulls gospel. That's part of the old Bulls gospel. It's Bulls 90-16 or what is it, Rudy? 1996. Bulls 1996 is the Corinthians. Bulls 1996. So the thing is here is, so the next question is do you think that the Grizzlies and the NBA handled the situation appropriately?
For
as far as Ja's concerned, with the suspension, the investigations, how they handled it as a whole, do you think that they did it correctly?
The NBA handled it well for themselves because now they get Ja Morant back, and that clearly helps with TV revenue, which they like a lot. Ja Morant does help TV revenue for a fact. He's one of the most exciting players. If nobody has watched old Ja, I Need Ja Rule, Ja Morant play, dude is the most ridiculous, probably one of the most ridiculous leapers I've ever seen.
He's got some verticality in his movement, like
on an NBA court. And like he's got kind of that. We're gonna go back to Corinthian Jordan's 1904. He's got that Jordan thing to him where he can literally, he does float a little bit. He's got that float thing, and then like he's said many times he makes things up as he's in the air. He doesn't know what he's gonna do when he leaves the ground, which makes it ridiculous sometimes. Like sometimes he's just like, okay, he's trying to do that thing, and he's had a couple of awesome dunks because he just went for it. Like it's like, oh boy, he was trying to fucking put that dude to poster, and he did. And like a lot of times he misses. I've seen him biff a couple of those too, but like it's exciting either way.
But we saw him get Rookie of the Year. His sophomore season was definitely a slump. His third year in the league, he gets Most Improved Player. Like, yeah, I mean, like marginally. Like he like I'm talking like he was better by like 5 points a game. He was better, like he was more accurate at the stripe. Like there were so many things that he improved to his game, and he gets this accolade. And so I want to believe that we're going to see a dramatic improvement out of John. We don't see the erratic behavior that we've seen. But
and so much of that sophomore year that you were talking about, kind of like where he slumped, and he did, was because that team was terrible. That team was fucking terrible. And then the next year he got not Michael Bridges, the other Bridges, Miles Bridges. They got Miles Bridges. Yeah, and he got some help. They traded for Steven Adams. So like that team was completely different, and that's why he had such a different season. The guy was still as talented. He still had highlight reel plays from that year. Like he's been like this the whole time. It's just now he's in the right situation. They just started getting prominent. Absolutely, yeah, prominent. And go ahead.
So let me ask you this. Let's say, and I hope this doesn't happen, but let's say that Ja's good for a while, and then his behavior gets erratic again. Well, my question is, if this doesn't fix the issue, do you still think the league handled it appropriately, or should the league have been harder on him if this didn't fix the issue?
In hindsight, at that point, it will just be that they didn't. Correct. I mean, if it does go awry again. This is just probation. They're literally putting Ja Morant on NBA probation, in this way, like giving him the 8 games, and they gave him time served, and time served is where they just count your days that you stayed in jail when you got arrested, and then I'm sorry, you know that. No, but yeah, like it's the best way to handle it, and like no matter what, dude, because if he's going to keep fucking up, dude, like you said, a week in some rehab facility is going to do what? Do what for him? If it wasn't immediate, like you were saying, psychological help, like, oh, hey, I'm out of control mentally. I don't know where my headspace is at. Like, I'm fucked. Like, I got to get somewhere to, like, get away from what I'm doing. That's a different thing. I am going to highly doubt that was the case here. I'm going to say that they did this to make it look like, hey, he's trying to do something for it. And that's a whole PR thing that we can, is a long thing, and we don't need to get into it.
Right.
But it's just, yes, they handled it correctly. And yes, probably shit's gonna happen again. Like I don't know, or maybe he gets a wake up call. Hopefully, he just goes.
I hope that. And this thing is, I like watching Ja play basketball, and I legitimately hope that the issues don't continue, because that man's got $200 million sitting on the table that he could lose if he doesn't keep his nose clean.
Let's put ourselves in his shoes, Tony. When you're 23, I mean, we are still chimps, right? So at this point, like, do we know that that's the best move, or is this? How much has the lifestyle taken over for him? Is my question. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if he's at that point, like where it's like he doesn't care, and he's got to stay in this persona to make some point that he's trying to make. Like that's the weirdest thing, is we don't know. Like we don't know him at all.
No, and you're 100% correct. Like, and that's why for me, like, I genuinely feel like this is one of those issues where he needs to check his circle. And he's got to tell his dad, look, I understand that I'm the breadwinner, but I need you to keep me in check. I need you to do that. He's got to look at some of those friends that were encouraging some of that gangbanger shit, and say, hey, we're still friends. I still love you, but I can't be close to you anymore. He's got to elevate the standard of being in his company. And it's not to speak ill on any of those other individuals. It's to say that when you get to the level that Ja is at, the standard of the individual that is around you has to be different, or you will not stay at that level.
Absolutely. You either get rid of those friends, Tony, or you go, hey, do you like that paycheck that you get every month from me? That $26,000 that comes in your mailbox? Do you like that? Like, you like having that, right? We need to get our shit together. If you want that to continue, that money will not be a thing anymore if we don't keep our shit together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that. And if they can't understand that, then yeah, they need to go. Like, I don't understand the way to say it.
That's the hard part, because I mean, just like we've talked about on the show many times, when you get to that level and you have that kind of money, it's hard to figure out who you can trust for the people that are in your inner circle. And so, while I don't understand being at his level, I understand that when you're going to elevate your lifestyle, you have to elevate your circle. And when you're going to, and if he wants to walk away from these negative things that are attached to his name right now and have them be behind him and not come up again, he's got to make that change. Yes. I feel like that's where it starts. His dad's got to keep him accountable, because I think that is going to be the most reliable source of guidance there. And he's got to change up his circle, because you've got that friend that's banned from the Pacers arena for a year.
Just the Pacers arena. Just Indianapolis.
Like that's behavior that you can't have, man. At that level, you just can't.
100% agreed, obviously. Now, because we're talking about this, and this has become an issue now, a big issue for Ja Morant. Humor me, though, on this.
Okay.
So he wants to, he obviously wants to go out. He's a young kid, you know?
He's 23. Why wouldn't he?
He's rich. He's famous. Like, why would you not want to go out, right? I get it. Do you not have enough money at that point to bring everything to you? Like, you have the strip club in your house. You have the bar in your house. You have the club in your house. Like, you can create these types of situations, whatever situation you're looking to be in, Ja Morant, in your own safe space. You know what I'm saying? Where everybody's.
But you're right. But clearly being in his own safe space still isn't enough, because he swung on a 17-year-old.
Yes. See,
and
maybe vet everybody a bit better. If he gets mad at somebody during a pickup game, don't fucking let him back in here, you assholes.
You know, that's my thing, is like, And again, still not saying that the 17-year-old kid was completely innocent in that sense, but as a grown man, you can't hit a 17-year-old like 12, 13 times, like the reports indicate, and it's okay. No, that's not how it goes. You get your distance, your team gets him out of the building. Like, that's the end of it. Like, if this kid was trying to step up on Ja and swing on him, if you have to put him on his ass once, if you have to hit him once or twice to put him on his ass to get to vacate, or for the team to get there, that's one thing. But that many times shows intent.
That's what I was going to say, Tony. Like, at what point did he go on like fucking 5 or 6 of him like leaning all the way back on one? Did he go, I probably shouldn't be doing this? Like, at what? I should probably not be fucking hitting this dude in the face again. Like, he's that shows obviously a and
that's a conscience issue.
Off-kilteredness. Yeah, he's off. Like maybe he's a little bit on the angry side at this point.
And that's why, and that's where I think the psychiatric issue is I think it's anger. I think that being at this level, now, yes, he was fortunate enough to grow up in a 2-parent household, so it was probably more mentally healthy than other people's situations that don't get to go in that upper middle class environment with 2 parents in the household. That's because that's how I'll describe it. But at the same time, he is now in a position, I think he's already got like 72 million in playing for the NBA was one of the numbers that I saw, like we'll say 80 million, like 70 million to be conservative. Okay. 23 years old,
stock
was 70 million
on a fucking S-curve rise. Like, we're talking hundreds of percentages. Yeah, a year.
Signature shoe deal. He had that Powerade deal that was sitting on deck. Like,
it's $1 billion.
I mean, he's on track to be one of those athletes that makes over $1 billion. And I'm not trying to begrudge him that. He's a talented athlete, but when you're a professional sports team, off the court conduct matters.
It absolutely does. And he needs to get
that's a part of the brand. Because you are a celebrity. Everything that you do is a reflection of not just your team, but also your peers. And unfortunately, because there are some horrible fucking people in this world, other black athletes.
Yes.
And so, because his actions are going to fuel those people. Oh, look at that speak negatively on those individuals. Because you and I know, because of growing up white, we've heard the old white people that speak negatively and have a negative stereotype about black athletes. It exists. And
there's a generation of people still alive right now, Tony, that won't even watch the NBA because it's a lot of black guys.
Exactly.
There's people still alive, like a lot of them. Like, that's at
that level, you've got to be cognizant of your actions. And I get that he's 23, and yes, we've all done some dumb shit when we were 23. And is waving a gun on Instagram in a strip club that big of a deal? For the average person, not really. You and I probably wouldn't be allowed to handle a gun in a strip club. Like, we'd get tackled by those big sweaty ass bouncers that think they're going to get to bang the
somebody would have taken it off of me, like, at the door. I'd have been like, yes, sir.
Exactly.
You know what? I don't even know why I carried this in here. You're right. Absolutely. You guys keep that. I'll be in here. Would not be. But so we're talking about Ja earlier, though, like with the play, it mirrors, though, if you think about it, it mirrors him like as a person at this point, because it might be an anger thing. The dude plays angry. The dude is going at like he is very aggressively angry.
And I think that's one of the reasons why the culture on the Grizzlies right now is they're trying to be the 90s Pistons.
Or like the Clippers, the Clippers of their era, kind of. Like those early, like the 2000s Clippers would have been their kind of era, right? So like it's like these. Well, how about the Golden State Warriors of 2007?
That's
team,
fair.
Baron Davis and Steven Jackson and all those dudes that beat the Mavericks. Villains. The first 8 versus a 1 seed, they beat Dirk Nowitzki's Dallas Mavericks in the first round. The first 8 to beat a 1 in the first round. 2007 playoffs. because they just played.
Okay, all right. I remember what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah.
As big as their shoulder, just all of them, dude. Balls out.
And that's the thing is you have a 23-year-old kid that's the face of $1 billion organization. He's also one of the faces of a multi-billion-dollar organization that is world renowned in the NBA. That's some pressure. Like we can man to man, like we can say that's some fucking pressure.
Yeah.
And
at no point have either one of us went, "Hey, Ja, you're a fucking idiot." You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? Like,
no, he's an idiot for what he did, but like cracking under the pressure, it happens.
He made a mistake for sure. I'm not even gonna like pigeonhole him into being in it. I think that he's probably a smart dude. But at this point, like what I mean, your environment,
so he's probably pretty smart. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, your environment at that point just forms your personality so much, because it is that pressure is, like that pressure is so much more that it's got to shape what you do every day way more than like ours does. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody's like, hey, you guys should have recorded after dark last night on a Wednesday. You guys should have recorded that. Like nobody's, there's nobody like on a sport morning show going to be like, fuck, dude, 7 sucked last night on After Dark. 7 fucking sucked, bro. He was terrible. Like,
I mean,
nobody's
you guys
nobody would do that
outside of that, but it's not going to be live.
Right. And nobody would do that like to you either, because you're doing a great job. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, it is a lot of pressure from like you get shaped by that at some point. Where how everybody reacts to you, how everybody is like, it's a lot of input and not a lot of ability to like process that input basically. Like, and so you kind of go haywire or something. I get it.
Especially with the quick pace, the quick pace of the game and the quick pace of the life as somebody that's the face of a professional sports franchise and or league, that's some pressure. And if you already struggle with anger issues, it's going to come out in some erratic ways. And so maybe the help for his anger is why he was in the facility. And depending on how he processed that, is it possible he was able to get enough in time to get going and maybe he's going to have daily or weekly therapy sessions for a while? I would hope he's in therapy, continuing getting out of the facility. But I mean, I genuinely hope for his sake that in 10 years we're just like, man, he made the right choice.
Remember when he about fucked that up?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when Ja about fucked that up at the beginning of his career? Remember that? I hope that we're saying that. I really do, because I would love to watch him play more. That's really like I'm selfishly almost like I'm rooting for Ja because I want to see him play in the NBA, dude. Like
it's good for basketball.
I'm selfish about it. Like I'm like, yes, I would like to watch that dude play for another 10, 15 years. Like I get it. And like right now on this pace, we're not getting, we ain't getting 10 more years. We might not even getting 2 more years at this pace. So we need to say, hey, pump the brakes, buddy. Pump the fucking brakes. Hey, pressure-wise, real quick, before we go to some ads, I think we have to run because we're very responsible. Have you seen the fucking Ja in the restaurant video where he's just talking to the waitress? He's like sitting at the bar talking. You haven't? Okay. Look it up. Well, I'll post in the comments.
Okay.
It's fascinating because this lady clearly does not know anything about the NBA. She has Ja Morant sitting at the bar in front of her, and there's somebody recording it. And she's just sitting there talking to him. She has no idea who this is. And literally, she's like she says she's a huge NBA fan. Clearly not. It's like, hey, what? She's like, what do you do for a living? She's hitting on Ja Morant in the video. And he's like, I play basketball. And she's like, who do you play for? He's like, the Memphis Grizzlies. And she's like, that's Ja Morant's team. And she goes, who are you? He goes, I'm Ja Morant. It's like it's the weirdest like
I love those videos, dude. I'm gonna have to find that.
Like I'm Ja Morant, and she just like loses her fucking mind, dude. She's like, what? And like there's a dude like sitting next to him. He's like, yeah, it's Ja Morant, dude. Like it's clearly like the guy's not even with him. He's like, yeah, that's clearly funny. Yeah, it's funny, dude. And just his reaction, he's like, yeah, I'm Ja Morant, and she's like just freaks out. that kind of shit, dude. That's everyday stuff that he
Right.
he goes into a diner. He goes into a diner just to eat anything that you're going in public to do. Like you go to the gas station every morning. Like you're gonna fucking people are gonna be, hey bro, you need to sign 8 autographs and take 3 pictures before I get back to my fucking car. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be ridiculous. It's such a ridiculous idea that I don't blame him for any of it. I really don't. Like I don't know what the fuck. How would we handle that?
Right, and that's the thing. And that's for me what's important is him finding success and not going back down that road, because as Shannon, we called it previously, hustling backwards. Like I don't want him to get back into that rhythm. I want to see him successful. One day I'd like for us to be talking about how we like his signature shoe or what we think about his signature shoe. Are they better than Kyrie's?
I'm just gonna every time we see Shannon now, I'm just gonna get that mental image. I'm gonna get the horse mental image. It's gonna happen. It's hard not to. He's a stud of a man. That Shannon Sharp.
Like if I was into black guys, I would definitely be into Shannon Sharp.
Chiseled. He's not. You feel. Peter's always like, well, you feel like with Shannon, you get the financial. He like actually breaks it down. He's like, I feel like, and he's like, I don't know. I feel like Brad Pitt would love you more. I feel like he would actually love you more. He's like breaking it down. I don't know. I just feel like Shannon wouldn't appreciate me.
Oh, have you watched the most recent episode of Family Guy?
No.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Bro.
I can't even do them anymore. I got laughed so fucking hard the whole time. And most everybody be like, what are you laughing at? I'm like, you gotta, they're doing a whole thing now.
They got the Will Smith slap on this latest episode. And it was so goddamn funny because all you hear is Chris, keep my name out your mouth.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Oh God.
What does that even mean? Sports report. What does that even mean?
It's probably Will.
Is it our producer that was supposed to be here an hour and fucking 24 minutes ago? Good God. Hey, the hint is when we run some ads, Dan has to pee.
Oh,
Erica.
Okay.
Erica. No, I'm sorry. And it's not your fault, Tony. Don't act like it's not any of your fault. This is on Erica 100%. I can't make it any more clear. That's probably her like commenting like, yeah, I'm not doing anything. Just commenting on the thing. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I can't shit. There's like 6 total employees at this company. And I feel like we are pulling a lot of the weight, Tony. I feel like we're pulling a lot. And
we're the best looking hosts.
Duh.
And we're the most intelligent.
Will's got a fucking chiseled jawline.
I'd
take Will over me. I'll put like you, maybe like Will and you, like tied at 1. Tied at 1, and then there's after that it's just a smattering of weirdness.
Like it's Will and me, Craig, a whole bunch of shit, you, and then Josie and Erica are tied at the bottom.
See, I went to more of like Craig is more of like a pro card magazine employee, not really art. If we can claim Craig, then Craig by like, like a whole sizable amount. I mean, this is 1983's San Francisco Chronicles most Sexiest eligible man. Bachelor. Well, in '83 he was the eligible bachelor. In '86 he won the Sexiest Man. He really came. It was a straight up curve for that guy too, and he just had that mullet working, I'm sure, and it was just a fucking. It was Craig
in a mullet. Oh my God!
Yes, it was a lot.
Those of you who don't know, he's talking about Craig, the co-host of our baseball podcast, which was called the Winter Meetings. It's been rebranded to the Diamond Report, and it will be back possibly next week. I'm actually working on that this weekend to see if we can make that happen. But to wrap up, John, before we do some ads real quick, I want to say I hope he's successful. I don't want to be revisiting this in a couple of years going, man, they should have come down harder on it. I legitimately don't want to be. It's good for the NBA for him to be successful. He's already proven that he can self-correct once. When we talk about going from year 2 through year 3 becoming the most improved player. But he's got to make that choice, and he's got to change the circle around him. He's got to elevate the standard of the people around him, because if he don't, he's going to be right back where he's at now, suspended.
Go watch some fucking Ja highlights on NBA.com.
On NBA.com. All right, y'all. We're going to take a quick break here. We will be right back. Wrap up your Monday with some laughs. Make sure to join Will, Seven, Dan the Dick Warner, and Josie as they dive into the hottest topics of the week across sports, including baseball, basketball, and the NFL. You can catch the episode live Monday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern on youtube.com/The Sports Report Podcast, or Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern on West Coast Radio. Don't miss the Sports Report Podcast. Don't miss Fight Night. Every Tuesday night, Will Morgan and Josie Haney break down the hottest topics of the week across combat sports, including UFC, boxing, WWE, AEW, and more. Past episodes are available on youtube.com/The Sports Report Podcast, and each episode will air again Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern on West Coast Radio. Don't miss Fight Night. Tune in or tap out. It's time for more dick, more snacks, and more basketball talk on the hardwood. Every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, you can catch them live on youtube.com/The Sports Report Podcast. Join them as they break down the hottest topics of the week in the NBA, along with the age-old argument on LeBron versus Jordan. This ain't one of Shaq's free throws. Don't miss it. Put the kids to bed, put on your shades, and crack open a cold one during Sports Report After Dark with Seven and Dan the Dick Warner. You can catch After Dark Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern on youtube.com/The Sports Report Podcast, and again Saturday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern on West Coast Radio. We believe that athletes are people too, and Skip Bayless is one of the lizard people. Don't miss Sports Report After Dark.
When you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They're the seed with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do. slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
All right. Thank you for your patience here. I had to go pee too, but I had to run the videos. So, because our producer didn't show up.
I was about to work in on my own like solo show thing. Like I was like, all right, here's your chance, Dan. Here's your chance. Just do it. I was like, I got it. I was like,
just not ready
all
yet.
there, and then like you sat back down, and I was like, it's like, oh, you know, I can't do it. And I was gonna be very like, it was gonna be like a Jim Rome kind of Colin Cowherd sort of mix thing that I was gonna do.
Man, I love Jim Rome. He's
fucking Rome is so good.
He's so good.
He's so fucking good. He could be a stand-up comedian.
I think he would
Rome could be a
actually
stand-up
do
comedian.
quite well as a stand-up comedian.
Just go there and do what you're doing all day. Literally just do what you're doing all day, except for just like make some different topics.
I mean, honestly, he could even have. Rome is honestly, I think he's smart enough and talented enough that he could do an entire set of sports-based jokes and kill in a crowd of sports fans.
100%, especially if he's doing like 10 minutes, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like 5 minutes is a lot of shit. Like 5 minutes is a lot
Like
of
5
shit.
to 10. I mean, like 5 to 10 minutes to start it out. But by the time he gets to where he's doing an hour, he's probably doing more normal stuff. But he could establish himself using sports-based content, and he would absolutely kill. Just
murder it.
Just destroy.
Dude, watched a Rome episode one time, long time ago, probably like 2008. Literally, there was just a chick named Eileen who like commented on one of the videos or something, and he was called in and said something ridiculous, and he literally went on a fucking "Come on Eileen" thing, that "Come on Eileen," the fucking song part, and he had it queued up and like fucking cut. And so all it was the "Come on Eileen" every time. For like, dude, like 20 minutes. He was like, Eileen, you call in here to my show on a Tuesday. He's like, and you say this. He's like, "Come on, Eileen," and it would play the "Come on, Eileen," and he would just be like, Eileen. He's like, I am a professional who does like, and he's like, just kept beating it, dude, to it, like, and they would "Come on, Eileen." He'd be like, "Come on, Eileen. Come on, Eileen." Like, dude, just beat it like a dead horse. And I was laughing so fucking hard at the end of it, dude. Like, he just kept going. And I was like, this is not going to stop, is it? Like, this is.
I need to send me that because I want to see that. That sounds like something that I would die laughing at.
Killed this woman, roasted her because she was like stupid. Like she said, like, and just like yelled something into the microphone. Like they cleared it, and she just like yelled. Like, just like, some stupid, like, hung up. And he was like, that was Eileen from Massachusetts. And he as immediate, "Come on, Eileen." And he was like, oh, he's like, fucking Eileen. Right in the middle. He was like in the middle of something too. Like he didn't even care. He's just like, I'm going to fucking go on this tangent for 20 fucking minutes. And like, I was like, dude, this guy's a fucking legend. He's a legend.
And I don't know if maybe there was a personality issue between he and Skip Bayless, but I'm honestly kind of surprised that they did not end up doing. I'm surprised it wasn't him and Skip at Fox, like legitimately.
Yeah,
not to knock Shannon, but like I think Jim Rome is one of those that could hang with Skip Bayless when it comes to getting down to debate shit. Like legitimately, it's like him, Stephen A, Skip, Shannon has obviously earned his own right. And we talked about Molly Kieran.
I think that I love Nick Wright. I love Nick Wright.
He's grown on me. He's definitely grown on me. He looks like a middle-aged Backstreet Boy, but he's grown on me.
Yeah. Yeah. He looks like a 32-year-old had a bar mitzvah. Like, that's how he dresses for the bar mitzvah every day. What he shows up in. He's 32-year-old. No, dude, Nick Wright has really well thought out. But for real, people call him a fucking, oh, he's a LeBron homer, he's a Kansas City. Like, dude, that motherfucker, he's smart. He thinks things out. Like, he has good points when he, like, whether you agree with it or not. I often don't agree with Nick Wright, but I think that he at least he is doing the work necessary to do his job. Let's just say that. Like, he's doing a lot of work. Like, he's actually working at it.
He does the research. He's gotten better as an analyst, I feel like. I certainly like him now more than I used to. I think that his show being in the afternoon, I think is a little better place for it. Rather than the lead into Undisputed.
It's a little different feel.
It is. I think it's a little calmer feel, and I think, you know, they even get to have the ability to be a more fresh opinion on the afternoon stuff that you won't hear from, you know, you probably won't hear from Stephen A. or Skip until tomorrow on. He gets, you know, he's one of those where he gets one of the earlier positions, earlier takes on it, and fresher to go to gain traction. So I like the position for him, but I don't know. I don't know. I always feel like there's still something missing on that show. You know what I mean?
There's an edge missing on the show is what there is.
There is, yeah.
Like, what's dude's name? I like the other guy too. The
Broussard?
host. He hosts. No, Chris Broussard. But like, what's the other dude's name?
What's his name?
The
white guy?
Kind of like, yeah.
What is his name?
God damn it! He says it like Broussard's or Nick Wright says it all the time. And I literally can't.
Wilds? Nick Wilds.
Nick Wilds. There you go.
Something Wilds. Yeah.
Kevin Wilds.
Kevin Wilds. Okay, yeah.
Kevin Wilds. Kevin Wilds is a cool host too. I like the whole dynamic they got going there. They're just all like three chill dudes. They're just chill dudes who like know a bunch about sports. And it's all I like that show. But I like
it. I just feel like there's something missing from it.
I feel like you might think that because there isn't like a dude screaming at you in some way, shape, or form. Like somebody's not yelling at you.
That's fair. That's fair. I do.
Does that make sense?
Yelled at. That's why I've been in the same relationship for 14 years.
Well, I mean, you're an umpire at heart. I mean, they're all sadomasochists. Right. I'm a sadomasochist. I'm an umpire, right? So
you're an umpire.
Yeah, it's all about the abuse for us. We like to feel it. It's a lot of abuse, and that's what it's all about. No, Jesus. Nick Wright's got his, to bring it back around. Nick Wright's got his fucking his place there too. For me,
he does,
that's like a lot of people just fucking hate Nick Wright because it's there's just LeBron and like, yeah, it's not all LeBron. It's just
he's like a Mormon Max Kellerman.
Or is Max Kellerman like a Mormon Nick Wright?
I'm gonna give Kellerman the lead simply because
I love Max Kellerman too.
And that's the thing is because I still think that Kellerman got done dirty by ESPN and he should be on a daytime show. But Stephen A. Smith was sick of getting his ass kicked by takes at the table.
Absolutely. Or just somebody being logical all the time about stuff. Like Max Kellerman's too logical. He's like very calculated.
And that's why he's right a lot, is because he's very calculated. I think he's definitely one of those that leans more towards the analytics side of things that he relies on. You can tell that's where he gets his accuracy from. Whereas Stephen A is more, passionate in his decisions.
You know where Max went wrong, right? He got idealistic. He got to the point where he was like, "Hey, I like boxing a lot. We could cover boxing on ESPN." And people were like, "Oh, fuck, Max. No, you can't." He's like, "No, I could do it." Got very idealistic, and you can't. But you really can't. I mean, you can't have a boxing show. Like, he has a show called Max on Boxing. Did you know that? Nobody else did either.
Well, and I think that it's. But here's the thing. What's crazy is you can tell, because like I've seen some of the stuff where he talks about boxing, and I watch it a little bit, just because like the bar that I go to for karaoke, if I go in on Saturday night, they usually have like boxing matches and they have fights up, and so I'll get to watch some stuff. And Kellerman's takes on boxing are pretty spot on. But have you ever
He knows
watched,
what he's talking about.
He does. Have you ever watched Stephen A. try to talk about combat sports?
It's hilarious.
He has
Hilarious.
no idea what he's talking about. No,
Like it's an open field tackle in the NFL. It's pretty much what every single thing is like. He's like, yeah, well, you just singled him out and you got him right there at the knees. It's all like, what do you mean he just got him right there at the knees? You can't just like they're not fucking running at each other, bro. Like there's like a way to do it. Like I'm not, dude. I don't know that much about mixed martial arts, but I feel like I fucking put that dude like to shame. I'm like, guys, it's not about that. You're doing it weird.
And
that was obviously a PR move from whoever hired. Yeah.
And the thing for me is like I like and if you've ever watched any of the UFC stuff where Stephen A is there, because obviously he's not the lead, he's not the A, and so you can tell him sitting there like he looks bored because everybody else's stuff matters more than he does, and he really shouldn't be there anyway because he doesn't really know what the hell he's talking about.
But he also has to listen to everybody else to know anything about what he has about to talk about. So he's like, I'm just listening to everybody else. He's like, I'll sum them all up. He's like, but I'll yell it, and I'll sum up everything they just said, and it's just money.
And for me, I get that he has aspirations of being above sports talk. He wants to get into he wants to be a late night TV host. I've seen, and that's great. Don't spend a bunch of time commenting on something that you don't understand, bro. That's why I don't run in and talk a bunch of basketball with you guys on Wednesday night, because I have a barely surface level knowledge compared to what you and Stacks do, and I will just look like a fucking idiot.
We tried to make it like a nerdy show on the hardwood, like on purpose. We're like, yeah, let's talk about like fucking BPI and the like screens percentage. Like the amount of times a guy comes off a screen and whether it works or not. He's the best screen and roller, Tony. He's the best screen and roller in the NBA. Like nobody's talking about it. We try to make it like weird and obscure. Maybe we get a couple people are like, yes, love that show. It's just like basketball nerds, but yes, like he's doing it for money, obviously. They were like, hey, you make us a lot of money, so we're going to pay you a lot to go talk about something you don't really know about. Can you do that? He's like, yeah, I'll just listen to what everybody else says and I'll just sum it up at the end. Like, like this guy likes Silva. Okay, good. I like Silva too. Like while they're sitting there, they always have him go last. They're like, yeah, Stephen A. always goes last. Yeah, because he has to listen to everybody else before, so he knows what he's talking about.
He just adds a couple of big words in and sums everything up.
Rogan talking about fucking Stephen A. Smith doing it was pretty funny. Like it was pretty funny. He was just like shocked that they were letting a person like, because Rogan doesn't even follow like national sports or anything. Like he just doesn't watch ESPN and shit. He's like, they're just letting people like do that. Like, yeah, they are, Joe. That's what they're doing. Exactly. It's hilarious that you said it that way because you don't watch it, but yeah. Yes,
that's exactly what they're doing.
People do. Yeah, they're just letting people talk about anything pretty much. This show is a perfect example. Look at this. I mean,
that's the great thing about
people actually watch this shit. There's three goddamn beautiful souls watching this right now. Live. All right. And that is, you know what? That's fucking shocking, Tony. Sometimes it shocks me. I don't know. You look like you should be in the movie A Scanner Darkly. Did you see that movie?
No, never.
Yeah, you don't get that joke then. One of the three people did though, Tony. A Scanner Darkly was like it was the one with Keanu Reeves, and it's like really digitally fucking like the whole movie. It looks like a cartoon, like a moving cartoon, but they're actually real actors. So they had like the little ball sensor things on the whole time, and they were like they basically make it a fucking cartoon, and it's weird. It like makes you sick almost because the background like moves.
John Wick about a month ago. I had never seen any of those movies, and I finally saw the first one about a month ago.
First one?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
It was a good fucking movie.
I actually like the other ones. Like the first one's okay. It's all right. Like it's a good action movie. The next ones are better. Just because you have like the already,
It It kind of reminds me. You remember the Transporter movies with Jason Statham?
Love those movies.
Great movies. I've enjoyed every single one of those. But the I kind of got that feel. But he's obviously a little bit more. He's different in the way that he does his things. But there's
very
definitely
brooding.
A lot more brooding. Like I don't know. Keanu as Batman, I think could be an interesting thing.
Oh, very interesting. Keanu can brood with the best of them. He's on the Jon Snow level of brooding, which is high up there, guys.
I've watched exactly the first episode of Game of Thrones.
You don't want to go there with me, do you? Because when you do, I'm gonna watch. Mark, what is today? March 16th, 2023. We're gonna have Tony on here making Game of Thrones references like quick and in a hurry. I'd say by July we'll have you on a good dragon type regiment talking about dragons and shit. I was
can
for
talk
a second.
about dragons without having seen it because I have a lot of.
Oh really?
Stuff.
You don't know? I don't think you know the GOT dragons, do you? You don't know those GOT dragons?
No.
Some serious dragons, bro. No, it's a really good show, and you would enjoy it. I know from your personality that you would really enjoy that show, and I'm sure people have told you that before. It's like the fucking greatest, dude. It's the greatest sci-fi. It's the greatest sci-fi, whatever they call that genre, like Star Wars, any of that shit. I think it's out of show-wise, obviously Star Wars movies, but show-wise, it's the best. It's the best one that's ever been made. I don't. It might be the greatest piece of theater and cinema as a whole that's ever been created. I'll give it like that kind of tout.
That's a pretty high tout considering
it's
Super
up there,
Troopers
dude.
Exists.
Well, there's Super Troopers, and I think there's a second one. So I am probably fucked on that one. And obviously the Fast and the Furious. I mean, those are dead. Those are dead heats with it. They're up there. I mean, they are looking at. I'm surprised they don't have straight 10s on IMDb. Just 10 all the way through. Especially the second one, which I didn't see.
which you what? How did you just not see the second one?
Like everybody else wishes they wouldn't have. I heard that's the best one. Tokyo Drift's the best one, is what I heard.
This Tokyo Drift is the third one.
It is okay. So what's the second one? Too Fast, Too Furious.
Too Fast, Too Furious. Yeah.
Don't think I think I saw either one of those. Definitely not the Tokyo Drift one. I did not see that one.
I legitimately like Tokyo Drift. I understand why people didn't like it. But I enjoyed it.
So do they know that they can stop and transfer the document? Like they can just stop the cars and like one of them just get out of the car and just like go steal the document instead of like driving the whole time to do it? Because then even when they get it, they keep driving when they should just like pull off the road and like maybe store it somewhere instead of just keep. I feel like they're doing everything. All those movies. Am I wrong? They do things that they could probably do like face to face in a meeting or something and do like a shootout, but they have to do them in cars. Like they're chasing somebody who has to keep moving, and then why does that have to keep moving? Why do they have to keep chasing?
Because it's about the cars and family, Dan.
Gotcha. It's in family, and then in the seventh or the eighth one, Dom and other dude, Brian, make out. It turns into a complete gay porno.
No, that's how 7 ends in the extended edition. They're shirtlessly making out, and Vin is pulling down Brian's pants to turn him around and fuck him. That's how that one ends. It's
like in right before the credits roll, one of them just bricks in the other one's mouth. That's just right. That's the fucking ending. Is that and much like the third Lord of the Rings movie? Let's be honest, much like the third Lord of the Rings, which is
I love that you quote Clerks 2 about so many movies, which just makes it even funnier.
I'm taking it back. Wanda Sykes. She's like, I'm not taking food from some crack ass hate monger. And her husband wants it the whole time. And then he gets mad at the end because he can't actually have the food. He's like, God damn it, man. Oh, it's so good. Sorry. Love that movie. Kevin Smith, you're a genius, bro. Hey,
Kevin Smith is a fucking genius.
Regular watcher of this show, Kevin Smith.
Gotta be. How can
Kevin,
you not be?
Hey, buddy. We've been asking you to come on. I've been kind of bothering you about it. Your agent told me to stop calling you. Just get on the show, man. You know, we need some clout. We need some that Kevin Smith clout. That would get us, bro. We'd be boosted, huh?
We'd be boosted. Yeah.
Definitely
get some tens of views.
That would be our most watched episode ever. Let's just say that. Just from the people the millions that he has following on, the 8,000 of them that would bear through it would be, that'd be our biggest deal yet. I mean, we'd be taken off. Bro, I might buy a Ferrari after that happens. I might just cash it all in and go, hey, I'm a star. Mom, I'm a star. Taking out this $68,000 car loan
in Nebraska.
We don't have the right kind of gasoline to run it, so I just can't drive it. It takes like some super premium fucking shit that we just don't have at the gas stations. Like, no, nobody has that. Like, well, shit. That seemed like a good car buy in the first place. I mean, the thing goes 255 miles an hour. Seemed like a good car buy. Not the best. It's not conventional, apparently.
Probably not very good on gas mileage either.
That 8.8 liter fucking V12 isn't good on gas mileage. Oh, come on. It has 720 base horsepower. This doesn't get good gas mileage. It's fucking unbelievable. What? I don't drive at 75 in first gear. Like, what the fuck?
So, did you see Aaron Rodgers' interview on Pat McAfee?
Yes. Of course I did, Tony.
Oh, God.
Dude, hey, I'm telling you right now, if you don't start, Aaron Rodgers is growing on you, isn't he?
No, not even close.
He's not at all. You hate it. You still hate him.
He's so good.
Dude, that's the whole point. I think it's a thing with him now. He's realized that he's fucking with people, dude. At this point, he's realized he's fucking with people, and he can appreciate that.
He is.
I think that he thinks it's funny though. He's doing it out of a weird. His sense of humor is weird. I'll give you that. But he is doing it because he thinks it's somehow funny, and he's not trying to be like. I don't think he's trying to be that big of a douchebag. You know what I'm saying? I really don't think he is.
But the thing for me is it's he says on McAfee yesterday that he told the Packers and the Jets Friday of last week that he intends to play for the Jets, and so they've been working out compensation. Also during the interview, he said that he was about 90% retired and then decided to come back because the Packers were going to move on from him.
Yeah. What, he can't be bitter?
Really? Why does he need to be bitter? He's so entrenched in how the organization treats him. And I don't necessarily mean in wanting the company you work for to treat you right, and I'm going to say the exact word, right, is not a bad trait. Everybody is allowed to have standards about their employer, but those standards have to be realistic. And you also have to remember, regardless of who you are with whatever organization, even at that level, you are replaceable.
Are there realistic standards for Aaron Rodgers anymore in his workplace? Or is he setting new standards for?
Does he have them? No.
Ugh. I mean, I think that you're just assuming there should be.
There. I don't have a problem with realistic standards. When the reports about him giving the Jets a wish list, Now, first of all, you notice on McAfee, he didn't say he didn't give them wish list. He said he didn't demand they get any players. Those are two different.
He said that he kind of basically made the point that he highly suggested that they add some guys. He didn't make them a list that was like discernible, or like where he said, yes, you have to go, like, or I'm not coming here. Like, he clearly didn't do that, but yeah. Did he say that he fucked with him a little bit and told him that, like, hey, if you get these guys, I'll come play for you? Yes.
It's my thing is I don't have a problem with something like that. Like, hey, if it's possible, if we can get this guy, that's one thing. That's not unreasonable. But he wants to have more. Trying to figure out how to say this the correct way that I mean it. He wants to be pulling the wool over people's eyes and feel like he's more ahead of the situation than where sports media is. And
yes.
there is a bitter edge to it. I understand that the sports media is not always kind to Aaron Rodgers. But since he won his Super Bowl, Aaron Rodgers is 7-9 in the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers has a horrible record as a 1 seed in the playoffs.
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers loses trust in his receivers and then just doesn't throw to that specific reason, not for a game, but very much at all. You can't do.
Literally will throw it out of bounds off a shotgun snap like it is his fucking job. Was just clearly was not going to run that play. Like, we'll just throw it straight out of bounds on a line, like fucking Varsity Blues style, where he hits the fucking mascot. Yep. Like just like that, just right out of bounds. Like, you're clearly just clocking it. He clocks the ball from the pocket a lot. If anybody who's watched him, I'm sure Packers fans know exactly what I'm talking about. He will give up on plays. Like, it's almost like he's so good that it has made him bitter, like you kind of said. But like it is a controlling thing. But like, I think that he wants to show his value, Tony, to somebody so badly. And those titles didn't come. And so he never got validated I've called him the greatest thrower of the football. It's just like Shannon Sharp. I'll use the same words. Thrower of the football that has ever lived at this point. Like, Patrick Mahomes is the only person I've ever seen who's even in the same league as far as like putting balls in the most ridiculous spots.
But like he wants to be. It's like you think like he wants to be the greatest Packer of all time. Well, he is. I would put him ahead of Brett Favre or Bart Starr.
Can you? I mean, Packers fans wouldn't. I don't think they can put him above Favre for sure, because Favre's got the 2.
How many MVPs did Favre get?
3. Okay. Favre won 3 in a row.
Favre got 3 in a row?
Yeah, 97, 98, 99, I believe. Yeah, he won fucking 3 MVPs in a row. And I believe they won the title one of those years. 2.
Well, I know he got 1 Super Bowl as well.
No, Favre had 2 in Green Bay. Favre won 2 in Green Bay. Because Favre only has the 2. Favre has the 2.
No, he won 1 Super Bowl. He has the 3 MVPs.
Okay, so those are the 3 straight years, right?
Yeah, that's the 3 straight years. But
he only won 1?
He only won 1 Super Bowl.
Went to 2.
Yeah, he went to 2. He had 11 Pro Bowls, 3 All-Pros.
Okay, fair enough. So, I mean, I guess, yeah, then you have to kind of...
But when you look at Aaron Rodgers, he had 10 Pro Bowls, 4 All Pros, one ring, but he has 4 4 MVPs.
And is clearly kind of the upgrade. He was like the upgraded
the Super
version
Bowl
of Brett Favre.
MVP, Burt Bell Award, Hall of Fame All 2010s team. Offensive Player of the Year in 2011, which I think that was one of his MVP years, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Upgraded version of Brett Favre. He's Brett Favre on steroids.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like, and that's why I say I can put him like he's and I get Green Bay fans not saying he's the best one because they're gonna have all of their different feelings, but statistically he's a better quarterback than Brett Favre, and he is the best Packer quarterback in Packer history. But
statistically with Green Bay.
With Green Bay, right.
Yes.
And so, and of course that's a very storied franchise. So he definitely ends his, and being ahead of Brett Favre is no easy task for any quarterback, because Brett Favre was a really good fucking quarterback. Brett Favre is one of the reasons I fell in love with the NFL game. He was my first favorite quarterback.
That style was alluring. It was that gunslinger that take all the chances. You got to know when to hold them. That kind of thing. The passion that he played with, obviously, like it and the fact that he looked like an accountant, is a weird little factor on the end there. He just looked like a normal dude.
He looked like a suburban dad.
with the fucking, like when you were a little kid and you went as Halloween as a football player, fucking sleeves, like they're just like hanging out, like it's just double stripes. And like he's got literally also Rydell little kid fucking Halloween face mask with the chin strap, the cloth chin strap.
The cloth,
because that was fucking safe. Like, what are you doing, Brett Favre? There's like, this motherfucker, dude, is a slinger. He's a gunslinger. He's out there fucking just not giving a shit, getting knocked in the chin with his fucking cloth. Fucking, it's ridiculous. And like he's a fucking urban legend. He's like Paul Bunyan,
But that's the thing is I have all kinds of respect for his work on the field. Obviously, off the field, there are some issues, but I've all kinds of respect for Brett Favre's numbers on the field. But Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback.
Yes. Oh, I think so for sure.
I like his arm better because it's not just about his power. It's about the accuracy that he retains with that power and being able to sling it 70 yards. But it's not just that the ball went 70 yards. It went exactly where it was supposed to, 70 yards down the fucking field.
Yeah. Yeah. That added element of like, because in the 90s, that used to be enough. You know what I'm saying? Like in the 90s, you could just throw it a long ways. And like, I'm not saying that it was just like, okay, it just went to a receiver. I'm saying like, but like, that was kind of what was regarded as like having a good arm, was like if you could throw it a long way, right? And then these guys started to come along like Aaron Rodgers, like a Pat Mahomes now, who they have cannons. They can throw it just as far as those 90s guys can, but they put it on a fucking dime. And they do it in weird places with weird arm angles that they have to, because they had to adapt to a faster defense. They had to adapt to dudes, rushing them, and they got to fucking fling it weird ways. And so, I mean, that's why it's always going to be the kind of the new gunslinger is going to have the best arm to me, because
if you think about it, because there's a pretty interesting comp when you look at Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and Patrick Mahomes, because they are all three at their core pure definition of a gunslinger. But it's like you have this graduation of Brett Favre was the alpha model of the gunslinger, and then
fit it in there,
right? You're like, this is the prototype, and then this is our first round of mass production. Here's Aaron Rodgers. And
Yeah.
then while the Aaron Rodgers model is still functional, here's the this is the best we're at right now. This is the PS3, the Xbox 360, or the, whatever, or Xbox One, whatever. This is that next level of gunslinger what you get in Patrick Mahomes, because you got, with Aaron Rodgers, you just got more of what you got from Brett Favre. Patrick Mahomes adds he has a much wider range of the electric things that he can do and the out of the box thinking things that he can do that even Aaron Rodgers doesn't really do. Because how often, yes, Aaron Rodgers can roll out of the pocket. Aaron Rodgers, especially when he was in the earlier part of his career, could really get some yards with his legs.
He could run.
He could run. But how often do you see Aaron Rodgers sidearm it? How often do you see Aaron Rodgers throwing off of that back foot?
All the time.
He
does have his back foot 80% of the time.
But I'm talking about with the accuracy that Mahomes does. You see
every
it
day.
more. You see it more with Mahomes. It's that next step.
So I think that here's where we're differing at. You just said that. So basically, Rodgers was Favre 2.0, right? So the strong arm. I actually take it as Mahomes is Rodgers 2.0, and Favre was the gunslinger. I understand your gunslinger. He's the prototype. He used the first one.
Right.
I was just we're just gonna fucking fit it in, jam it in there, which says a lot about his personality if you know him. We don't know him, but you get the point.
He's probably okay with jamming it in there.
Has at some point.
Absolutely has at some
Definitely
point.
has. That he's in that long line of Angel Hernandez dick pics. His is in there. His is exhibit 204 dash BF. It's under BF 204. That's Aaron Rodgers' dick pic that Angel Hernandez has for some reason, even though there's no leverage involved there. Angel Hernandez just likes dick pics. But yeah, I think that Rodgers is more Mahomes is Rodgers 2.0, because it's literally it's you got 25 extra attribute points on Madden, and you made Patrick Mahomes you already had Aaron Rodgers base, and then you just
kind of all right, I see
agility and it's probably maybe some awareness, probably about the same area, but agility, acceleration, kind of just you got to just add a little bit more, because I'll give it to you that I think that how big of an Aaron Rodgers fan I am.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Patrick Mahomes will end up, and it already probably is, just from what I've seen, a better quarterback. I think that's
he's already got his second Super Bowl and Super Bowl MVP, so he's already up in that regard. Now, how long is it going to take for him to get his fourth? Because he's had the one MVP for regular season. Or wait, no, does he have two MVP?
He's got two now.
Oh, that's right. He does have two. Okay, you're right. No, because he won this year. I forgot. Okay. Yep. I don't know why I forgot that, but
has he won now both
Super Bowl wins?
Both years that he's won the title, right?
No, because the first year that he won MVP, he didn't win the Super Bowl.
Oh, Brady beat him, right? In the playoffs? Or was that no?
Yeah, because no, that's what it was, because the 2019 season was the year they won the Super Bowl. Lamar was the MVP player MVP that year. Pat got the MVP the next year, but they lost in the Super Bowl to Bucks.
Yep.
So he's at 2-2. And the two Super Bowl
shebang
MVPs
this year. Yeah, I got the whole shebang.
He
in year 6?
Yeah.
Year 6. After he sat for an entire season.
Yeah, 5th year starting, 6th year in the league, 2 MVPs, 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, and he's still going.
That's what I do on Madden, dude. I like to crush people on Madden. And like I'll just like create but that's my quarterback on that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's fucking weird because I don't play like equal fucking difficulty. Like I usually crush the teams I'm playing. Like this motherfucker is playing real football. He doesn't have a difficulty level. It's just fucking professional football. It's just hard as fuck. that's the NFL's difficulty level. It's hard as fuck.
And that's the thing is like I respect what Aaron has done and his contributions to the NFL because I think that quarterbacks like Aaron inspired more gunslinger quarterbacks. And I love gunslinger quarterbacks in football. I think it's great for the game. But his attitude and the way that he approaches it, and if you're so bitter about the Packers organization, why are you still there? Or why were you still there? If it was literally that much of an issue that you just detested them so fucking much, you can't tell me that another organization would not have put up the capital to trade for him and get him out of there and put him in a situation to win. He refused. Exactly. He just, rather than handle the issues that he had with that organization appropriately, internally, he chose to just consistently be bitter about the situation. And I'm not saying that the Packers organization was correct in all their stuff, because let's be honest, they probably weren't. But at the same time, he's responsible for his actions, and his actions are why he's been so heavily criticized by sports media. He knew what he was doing when he said he was immunized and not and he didn't say vaccinated. He knew exactly what, and he admitted it to Joe Rogan. He knew exactly what he was doing. Yeah. Because he didn't want the questions that all of the other guys were getting that didn't get vaccinated.
Yep.
And he didn't want to have to go through all of the same protocol. And so he misrepresented intentionally.
Smart.
Right. I mean, trying to just get around the rules, don't really care.
Right. I get that's what we're seeing from him. I understand that. Also, he's the worst fucking poster child for psychedelics ever. Like if anybody's putting like Aaron Rodgers on like the ayahuasca train, like he's the worst. He's the worst for it because he seems like he is super self-entitled till. I get it. I see what everybody else sees.
I will say, you know what former NFL quarterback should be the face of psychedelics?
I know this answer. Don't tell me. Kirk Cousins. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Jake Plummer.
Jake Plummer is for sure. He's got that shrooms company, right?
Yeah, he's got a shrooms company in Denver.
I love Jake Plummer. Jake the Snake. I have a Jake the Snake rookie card.
I remember when he was a quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals, listening to that. I remember the rape allegations he had at ASU.
There's some, everybody gets raped at ASU. That's part of their slogan.
Oh my God.
What? It's Arizona State. That's everybody. I didn't say just mostly females. I said everybody. Like everybody that goes there. Usually on a houseboat, Tony. Usually on a houseboat. For some fucking reason.
Because that's the lake. They all go to the lake a lot.
Because houseboats aren't scary enough already, okay? I got to worry about that.
I don't know that I could have sex on a houseboat. Like, I don't know. Like, that would probably be one of the safest places to not get raped around me. Like, I'm not going to rape anybody anyway, but like, that's just, I can't.
You got your own motion of the ocean that you like to control. I get it.
There's enough motion. I'd be too worried. Maybe it's just because I have anxiety issues, but I'd be too worried about the damn boat tipping.
Bro, I get car sick. I get car sick, so I'd just be throwing up and shit. Fucking just would not be good. Like I'm not out on this.
Okay, so the only boat experience
ASU.
that I've had, is my stepdad had a bass boat when I was in high school, And so we would go out to Grindstone Reservoir.
Blue Cat.
Out there between St. Joe and Cameron.
Oh, yeah.
And
Blue Cat.
we'd go fishing out there.
Yep.
No, man, we'd go out there. We'd get out there at sunset, and we'd get like, because my stepdad swore this was legal. I never checked because I'd rather not know if he was. We'd get jug lines going, and we'd put them out. We'd get in the boat. We'd put them out by the reservoir where all the big catfish were, and then we just drive back into the coast, set up at the dock for a little bit, fish for bass off the dock, and then just wait. And all of a sudden we'd see a jug just zipping across the water, and then we'd wait for a few hours until they had all moved and we're just kind of buoying, and then we'd go pick them up and get a bunch of catfish.
Just and hammered drunk
the whole time.
Hammered drunk
the whole time.
I mean,
no,
fishing,
my stepdad was not giving a high schooler alcohol. That's illegal, sir.
Well, I
was sober and he was drinking.
When we were growing up, Tony, the drinking age was 15, so it's we didn't really know about all this 21 bullshit.
I had a
dip in my mouth.
No such thing as a drinking age, unless you're.
There is no drinking age. Yeah, don't go into like an actual establishment, you idiots. Everywhere else, it's okay. Like everywhere. Everywhere.
As long as you're not in an establishment, nobody questions it. It's just like
if you feel like an adult at all, if you can just hold yourself together for long enough to have a normal conversation, you can have a beer. It's like the thing here.
Small towns,
probably too soon.
And beer is like the French with their kids and wine. Like it just happens at a young age. It just does.
Yeah, they were like, "Dad, I've been drinking since I was 8. Like since I was 8 with the pasta. I've been having it since I was 8. Yeah, like that's pretty much the same thing. Yeah." It's like the PBR with the corn dogs, Tony. Not the wine with the pasta, more the PBR with the corn dogs.
So my next question for you is, okay, so Aaron Rodgers is going to New York Jets, making some moves.
Woo!
Are the Jets a Super Bowl contender with Aaron Rodgers and the moves they seem to be making so far?
If they meet that demand list, that he went in there and signed, as he said, on parchment paper, he said he sent it to him like a request. It was rolled up. I was laughing my ass off, dude. He's hilarious. You can't get him outside.
Even we do combined.
He's got a Daniel Tosh thing going on with the stand-up too. It's an after career thing. Maybe he hit it. Like he's just an asshole. Like, yeah, I went over to parchment paper and and when clearly he actually did go in there, as he doesn't even hide that he clearly went in there and was like, "Hey, I think it'd be a good idea for you guys to maybe look at this guy, and this guy, and this guy." He said, Did I talk about teammates that I enjoyed in the past? Yes. He basically just said, yes, I talked up a bunch of dudes that I want them to sign. Did I have a list for them? No. But that's exactly what you're talking about, is like, he lives in a weird area where like, oh, well, I didn't like mean to say that. Ha 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 ha.
Getting a straight answer out of him is like trying to get a straight answer out of a guy that's a criminal, but not the criminal for the crime that they're looking for in Law and Order. Like, yeah, I know what happened, but I don't know if I know what happened. You know what I mean? Like, he's just an Italian accent away from being a bad Law and Order character. I'm just saying.
For real. But yes, when you need to get into a bonded warehouse, Tony, you get a bonded truck. Like he's got all the inside info. He's like, unless you got your own truck, and then he's like, I've never done a crime like this before, though. Yeah, like I've never done this. I just wanted you guys to think that I've done. Like he's very like,
done this. I just know how it can be done if I ever did do this.
If I ever were to do it, I think I could pull it off because maybe I've tried. No, I haven't tried it. No, yeah. Yeah, he's very he plays hard to get. Plays hard to get with a lot of things, which makes it weird, and it makes it like. But at this point, I mean, if you're Aaron Rodgers, your life is just a fucking. It's just a mayhem of Aaron Rodgers, isn't it?
He clearly gives zero fucks anymore, like just zero.
I love it. I think that's my favorite thing about him. It's like I think that he.
Like no, I can respect that part of it. I just think he's being a bitter bitch about it.
Right. It would be hard for us to sit here and think that, like, even with all of that, like that is going on in Aaron Rodgers' life, that's the route that we would take. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I doubtfully, because there's a lot of guys who have, not a lot of guys, but there's like dudes who have that kind of fame and respect in the sports world, and they don't handle themselves that way. You know, it's like he's clearly got a personality thing, like, well, this is how he likes to do shit. And like, I get it. Does it make him look like a little bitch? Yes, kind of. It does. I get it. But I encourage you, 2014 NFC NFC Championship game, okay? He puts some throws on some dudes. Just watch it. Go watch a highlight from fucking 2 years ago of Aaron Rodgers, of him throwing off his back foot and throwing it like this. He loved it. That's how he does it.
And yeah, that's the thing, is his throwing motion is very compact. He doesn't have to do a lot of drawback to get what he wants. And I'm not going to deny that Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. And clearly
greatest arm
he
talent.
kept one of the greatest arm talents the NFL's ever seen. The greatest of his era, for sure.
For sure.
The greatest arm talent of his era, because obviously Brady won more, but that's a completely different thing that involves scheme and game management and stuff like that Aaron Rodgers can't do.
That we're talking about. Yeah.
Aaron
Rodgers' mindset. This is not the conducive mindset for winning championships, clearly.
Exactly. But
yeah,
it's unarguable that the arm talent wise, he is the best of his era. But when you're at that level, the expectation for how you conduct yourself, just like we were talking about with Ja, the expectation is different. And if you don't want to meet that expectation, cool. Step out. He doesn't have Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers could win MVP and Super Bowl this year, and it is not going to change his legacy.
No,
it's not. It is flat out not. It is not going to change anything about Aaron Rodgers' legacy. He doesn't need to play this year. He wants to play this year because he wants to spite Green Bay.
If he wins the title, though, that doesn't do anything that does a lot. That does
I think it's going to make
shit.
him an obnoxious fucking asshole.
Oh, you aren't going to be able to stand him. I'm going to love it. Nobody is going to be able to stand that motherfucker.
From a fucking, light year away.
They'll have to have the interview in an airline hangar for that head to get into the fucking.
I arguably,
like, yeah,
and the commentary on that would just be ridiculous. But ultimately, when you're not a victim of the moment and you reflect back on Aaron Rodgers' legacy, even if he won MVP and a Super Bowl title this year, it's not going to change it, because with everything else that he's already done, he's already a Hall of Famer. He's an arguable arm. He's the best arm talent in the history of the league, best of his era at least.
You're saying a title doesn't change it?
He already has a title. He's already a Hall of Famer,
bro. But a second one when he leaves the place that he's like been shitting on, and then if he goes, I doubt it's going to happen. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to win another Super Bowl. But if it did, like if he won one in fucking New York with the Jets, bro. He is no longer paying for a drink the rest of his life in New York City, for one. He owns New York City at that point. More than Aaron Judge. Well, not more than Aaron Judge, but
I was saying there's no way. It's not more than Aaron Judge. Sorry, it's not.
He's like on the what's that level? Like the Carmelo Anthony level? He'd be on that Carmelo Anthony level like immediately in New York City, which is like fucking high.
I don't know. And the reason why I say I don't know is because of the fact that it's the Jets. If it's the Giants, then I would say he's definitely up in that direction.
Bro, I'd argue that the Jets fucking fan base is larger. And at this point, I think probably if more passionate. I know that's a hard thing to judge, but they're like, dude, the Jets fans in New York want a fucking title, dude, bad. They're at every fucking NFL draft booing every fucking, what's that?
Because they've never won one, have they? The Jets?
You would ask me that question. I don't. Yeah, they won the fucking Super Bowl II. Namath. Namath called fucking Super Bowl 2 71 or what was it? 3. Super Bowl 3 maybe 2 or 3. That was their only one. Was with Namath.
69. Yeah, they did win 69. You're right.
That's it though. Yeah, so they haven't won since 69. So they're like they won like one of the first ones and they're, they were one of the original fucking, teams out of the gate. They were one of the original AFC teams.
The Jets just I just saw this. They signed Greg Zuerlein earlier today to be their kicker.
Legatron. Hey, pride of Mo West, baby. Mo West. That's in St. Joe, yo.
Oh man,
that's in St. Joe, y'all. Are you not a Legatron fan?
I mean, it's kickers.
Who's your favorite kicker in the NFL?
It's not Justin Tucker or Harrison Butker. I don't care.
Fair enough. I did want to give you a couple of comps. I wanted to give you a couple of comps in different sports to Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
And I want to see if you agree to these. Vince Carter in the NBA, Aaron Rodgers.
Actually,
go just gameplay. Sorry, like go just like how their game was.
I'm actually gonna say Pippen, not Carter.
Aaron Rodgers,
right? And
Pippen.
And the reason, Rodman. You know what? I'm gonna correct it. Rodman. I meant to say Rodman. And the reason why I say it is
Rodman makes more sense.
Right? And I meant to say Rodman, but the attitude. Now, and I like Rodman more than I like Rodgers. Rodman was more open about the fact he's like, I'm just going to do whatever the fuck I want, and that's just the way it's going to be. And
it was the 90s, and nobody recorded anything, so that was
exactly
that was pretty easy.
He got away with a lot of shit that Aaron Rodgers couldn't.
And Carmen Electra,
and Madonna.
Good God, what is it, Dennis? Regular watcher of the show, Dennis. Please come on the show. We'd like to have you. We're going to talk to you about some stuff. Not Carmen Electra. Probably a little bit of Carmen Electra.
You know how sometimes there's things where you're like, you just look at it because it's something that was like you heard about a thing that happened and you see one of the things involved in that. Like when you have something in the jersey that this player wore, the shoes that this player wore, the gloves that this player wore. Like if there was a museum of stars doing crazy shit, the condom that he wore to have sex with Madonna, or the condom that he wore having sex with Carmen Electra, I would look at that exhibit.
Front and center. Right next to the Cosby sweaters. Right there.
No, they wouldn't do the sweaters for Cosby. They would do like the bartender shaker and stuff like that.
Yeah. The strychnine, whatever. If I can. These are the flories or roofies that Bill would use. And this is the weird little aftermarket, audition room that he used. After hours. God knows what happened here. It's like a fucking
Harvey Weinstein's bottle of baby oil.
Harvey Weinstein's fucking whatever noose he hung himself with and was able to put enough force to jump off a third-story building with. Jeez, it's a heck of a noose, bro. I mean, damn. Like, where did he jump from to break his neck like that? Is that like
a crane?
That shit is ridiculous, man. We won't even get into that because we got to end the show. But fuck, go look that shit up, guys. If you want to be fucking amazed. No security footage either. The cameras were out for that 36-second period of time, wherever the fuck it took, for that really strong dude to suffocate Jeffrey Epstein with a towel and then hang it over his cell and be like, yeah, well, he definitely killed himself. Makes sense. Yeah, clearly. Because everybody asphyxiates and dies within 36 seconds of not being able to breathe. Interesting. Just great stuff. It's good stuff. I only rode with him a couple of times in his plane. All right, and
you're thinking of Epstein. Harvey Weinstein was
dinners.
the movie producer that started.
Oh, Weinstein, yeah, yes, that guy.
He's not dead. He's not dead.
He is not dead. Yeah, well, he probably should be. Why is he not? No, he's probably in some super.
I think Weinstein's not dead because he's so fat that none of the weapons can actually pierce into his skin anytime they try to shank him in prison.
Tosh does that fucking bit about the guy getting stabbed 671 times in prison, and he didn't die because he was fat. He's like, I'll do the math for you. He's like, that's 3 stabs a second. He's like, that's 3 stabs a second. That's 12 minutes of stabbing. And that's quick. He's like, that's 3 stabs a second. 671 times. True story. 671 times dude got stabbed and lived. Like, what is going on? What are we doing here, Tony?
That's just madness.
It's fucking madness.
This isn't madness. This is after dark.
That's the new cut intro scene. It's the new after dark intro.
Yeah, right, I'm definitely going back and clipping that.
Yeah, absolutely. We should
absolutely.
Don't clip anything else from this episode though, because
oh god, no.
Might get us into that nobody. It's an advantage that nobody listens at this point. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
at least thankfully Josie doesn't listen to our show, so I don't have to worry about getting an email the next day. Like, what the fuck were you guys doing? I don't worry.
And Will wasn't even a fucking NBA team. Will wasn't even a fucking NBA team, bro. Wasn't an NBA team. He kind of was waiting. I can't even do it. He was kind of waiting. That guy was kind of waiting to do it, dude. He was kind of waiting to use it. It's not original. Make up an original one. Come back at me. See if we'll drop it. Maybe. Will's like, fuck this guy.
but if you're going to come up with it originally, you have to think, do you think they said this in Boston to them? If the answer is yes, it's not original. We've already joked about it. You just
go to a Celtics game and they'll give you like 7 of them. You'll just hear them walking through the fucking. You'll just hear them walking through to get a hot dog. You'll hear 7 new ones. You'll be like, Jesus, I didn't even know that was like. Who is thinking of these? That took a lot of thought.
I want to. Okay, so I'm not even going to close anything with Aaron Rodgers because I want to talk about one thing before we wrap up. Have you watched the new Chris Rock special yet? Have you watched it?
I watched the part where he addressed the Will Smiths. I have not watched the rest of it. I watched the part where he addressed the Will Smith thing.
All right, so I'll let you 1 minute really quick. What were your thoughts on that?
I thought it was hilarious. I thought he handled it in a. I mean, it was great. I thought it was great. It's obviously he literally talks about how there's no way that he ever could have kicked Will Smith's ass for one, which is like a huge point for him to just concede. If you think about that, dude, like how
right,
like so if you're not a male, females, any females that are listening, you don't understand how hard that had to have been for that man to do. Like he literally just said, like, hey man, I got my fucking ass kicked. Like, and he said it in front of millions of people. Like, you would have fucking kicked my ass, dude. That shit was super respectable to me. When he started with that, I was like, that's amazing. Like that he just basically said, like, hey, bro, obviously I'm not gonna fucking kick Will Smith's ass. And like everybody knows that. But like he ends it with in the best way by basically saying, like, hey, I didn't need to fucking kick Will Smith's ass because he kicked his own ass. That dude kicked his fucking own ass all over that stage, and he tried to kick my ass, and he kicked his own ass everywhere. Everybody was calling him a bitch, and I was calling him a bitch, and then the fucking is calling him a bitch, and Los Angeles Times is calling him a bitch. I was like, yes, he's just doing it without doing it.
Or when he says he watched Emancipation just to see him get whipped.
Yeah, he fucks the joke up.
I broke that.
He fucks it up. He fucks that joke up, and he's like, God damn it, I fucked the joke up. He's so excited though. He's like, fucking goddamn it, I don't fuck the joke up. He just keeps going. Like, this dude's a fucking pro, man. Like, he's the epitome of, like, we've talked about it before. He's the epitome of a dude who can fucking talk to you on stage and it seems like he's actually talking to you the whole time. Like he's just talking to
Yeah.
you. And then, but then he separates clearly, and he fucking says in that, he says, "I fucked the joke up." Like he's doing a thing, dude.
Well,
and he's
so
so good at it that you don't notice.
I fucked the joke up, so that doesn't make it in the Netflix final edit.
Oh, I'm sorry,
that's
what I saw.
because because at least I don't remember. I'll just go back and watch it again. I don't know, but I don't remember seeing that when I watched it the second time. But
he switches the movies around that he uses. He switches Emancipation because he says that I just liked watching him get whipped or whatever. He switches that and Concussion around. And then like he basically fucks it up and he says in the middle, he's like, "I fucking joke up," and he just keeps going because he's so excited to say it. And like,
switched it back.
Everyone gets it though. You get it at the end, you're like, "Oh, I see."
Right. So there was another joke in that special that I thought was really interesting enough to talk about. And when First Generation Dad comes back, we're going to talk about this. So
I'm going to be on that.
They were talking about how
sometimes,
say that kids don't learn to be hateful, that's taught. And he starts talking about how his oldest daughter, Lola, when she was a kid, she would bite people. And he was like, "Do you think her mother and I were sitting at home encouraging this, teaching it?
Good.
We got to get her on shoe toys."
Yes.
Kids are their own, like he's talking about how kids are their own individual people with their own thoughts and ideas and impulses. And that broke me to no fucking end, because there are times where my son says some of the most fucked up shit and I'm yelling at him for it. And I'm like, what have I done wrong? But I'm like, oh wait, it's not my fault. He's just an asshole.
He's just like his own asshole. He's his own
asshole. He is his own asshole. I am my own asshole. Is some of his asshole my asshole? Yeah. Is some of his asshole his mom's asshole? Yes. But as a whole, he is his own asshole.
He's his own completely unique and separate asshole. Yes. And he just there are three kinds of people in this world, Gary. There are three kinds of people in this world, Tony. There are dicks, there are pussies, and there are assholes. Yes. Like he's his own, like, yes. And I can't even like get mad at any. I can get mad at a kid because I didn't really remember what I was like when I was like a kid. But like high schoolers, teenage age, my stepkids, can't fucking get mad at them because I literally just go, dude, I was a fucking maniac back then too, man. Mm-hmm. I was a chimp. I was a fucking idiot. Like I was a disrespectful fucking cunt, probably a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot. I know I was to my parents. I know I've apologized to my mother fucking 50 times at this point. And at this point, she's sick of it. Like I'm literally just like, I can't fucking imagine what it was like. Cause I remember what I fucking did.
My mom and the stepdad that I had when I was in high school, they split up my senior year. And like it sucked, but at the same time, like I understood. Like it was what it was. Like it was one of those things where it wasn't a big thing, happier. Even though it sucked. Like they're both, for the most part.
Besides him, probably, right?
But I got back in contact with him a few years ago, and like of course, got my son, Martha, and all of that. And the first words I said to him, It's so glad to hear from you. I owe you an apology." Those were literally the first two messages I sent him. It's so glad to hear from you. I owe you an apology. Because I was like, listen, I've got some shit to apologize for.
Right. Because it weighed on you because you're like, fuck. You thought about it later and you were like, fuck, dude. Like, God damn it. I wish I could talk to that motherfucker right now and be like, dude, that's fucked. I'm sorry I did that. like, yeah. I've done it with my fucking ex-girlfriend's mother, like, and her stepdad. Like, I've literally talked to both of them and been like, hey, dude, I'm fucking sorry. It was a fucking from my high school, my high school girlfriend. Like I was just like, this is fucking. I was so stupid, dude. Like I'm sorry. And they're like, yeah, we know you were. They're like, we know you were. Like you were a fucking handful, and we kind of hated you sometime, but yeah, you're fine. Like we don't hate you now. And I'm like, okay, good. That's holy shit. Like because it weighs on you a little bit. It's like fuck, man, I was an asshole.
Oh yeah, when I was I went back to one of the times that I went back to Cameron to visit before we had moved back to St. Joe. I was talking to, or I'd gone back to like Cameron. And I stopped into the church where I used to that I used to go to see the pastor, because the pastor played for Harlem Legends. There were like the retired guys that used to, like the original Globetrotters. They had their own little thing called Harlem Legends. He was one of the few white guys that got to play with him. Those dudes, tall 6-footer, could do all the passing and stuff like that. Pretty good, like legitimately good athlete.
The Harlem Legends, aka the guys who will still slay you at the YMCA. Absolutely, who will still fucking slay you at the YMCA. And these athletic fucking kids coming out there. These dudes are 67 with fucking knee pads on, just killing people from the fucking free throw line.
And I was back in there, and I was just like, just seeing how he's doing, because his son's a college athlete, goes to Arkansas. His name's Hunter Harrell. Not bad. No, I don't think he's gonna make pro, but he's a college athlete. But was just catching up with him. I was like, I do owe you an apology for the person that I was in high school. And he started laughing. He looks at me, he goes, brother, we were all shitheads in high school. I was like,
yeah. Yeah. That's what I've been met with the many times I've apologized for those things. Like it's like, oh yeah, dude, I get it. Like and it makes it so hard for me to actually be mad at any person that age. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, fuck, well, yeah, you're definitely doing idiotic things that are pissing me off. But I'm like, I did probably that same thing. Like I did this and with the total disregard for anybody else's feelings that it fucking takes to be that big of a shithead. Like they're doing it with that much gusto.
At that age, you don't, your impulse control is so much harder to manage. And you have regardless of the environment that you grow up in, you don't have a true understanding of empathy and consequences yet. Like it takes time for that shit to develop.
Survival.
Yeah. So
at that point, you're just in complete survival mode. So like that just means everything is about this guy right here or this girl right here. We're all we're staying alive, but we're doing it in a weird way where we don't. Yes, where we don't understand shit. Like they don't understand the even thought. Thing. The even thought of dying for somebody else is not a thing at that point. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like
it's like Ja Morant. As we spring this back to before we wrap up, Ja Morant. One of the reasons why it's easy to not make a bigger deal out of the situation is because we understand he is only 23 and he has $80 million. And we understand that if you just gave me $80 million when that's not what I'm used to, I'm going to do some dumb shit, especially at that age with the decision making that you have at that point. We were all idiots at 23. Every single one of us. We were all idiots.
Tony, the only reason I can say I'd never be a 23-year-old with $80 million is because I would have died at 22 with the $80 million. That's the only reason that I can't say I'd never be a 23-year-old like that, acting like that with $80 million, because I just would have fucking killed myself. So Ja's doing pretty well. Ja's doing all right.
But he has to commit to making the change, because if he doesn't, next year we're going to be talking about Ja doing something else stupid and fucking up his contract and losing that sneaker deal.
You know what? I think that we can legitimately and properly say at this point that if Ja Morant goes down that road again and this starts happening again, that he doesn't deserve the position that he's given. Like he couldn't handle it. He couldn't handle it, and that's fine. Ja, you can go coach high school basketball where the fuck you want to do, but like you don't need to be in that position, and that's just what your personality allowed. And it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate because that's a talent that everybody would like to have enjoyed for a longer period of time. But if that's what he has to do to stay out of prison and out of, like alive, then I'm fucking totally fine with him being a high school coach for the rest of his life. Honestly, like I'd rather him live out his life and try and gain more knowledge before he just completely fucking firecrackers out. I'd rather that not happen. And I hope that is what, like, you would think that would be like you'd be like, all right, hey, I fucked up real bad, dude. Like we gotta wrangle this thing back in because this doesn't happen without that, right?
And some of us that we all kind of have that moment where we realize I really fucked up. Because like I would say I was about 23, 24. And I had a moment where I was like, I really fucked up. And this is a fucked up situation that I now have to navigate. Yes, there were other people that fucked up around me, but I fucked up.
Yeah.
That I have to take, I have to take ownership on that. And that was actually a point in my life where I started to make changes and it had a huge impact on where I'm at now. So that's why I'm never going to be one when somebody's in this situation similar to Josh to say, oh, I don't think he can do it. I think, and especially with Josh's track record where he's proven that he can correct his mistakes, I think Josh has a huge chance of success as long as he chooses to.
And that's the thing. Like, do you know if it's going to be that kind of thing or not? Because for some people it is, and for some people it isn't. And this is what he's doing already. You would think at some point, like we would already be like that. We'd already be like, "Fuck, man, I got some money. Like, all I got to do is show up and play basketball. Like, I like playing basketball. Like, but that's not what it is. It's not that simple." You'd think that's what it is,
and that's where the mental health aspect comes into it because. He checks into this facility. Apparently it was mental health. That's what we've been told, even though this was a rehab facility. So he's checking this facility for mental health. If there's a legitimate mental health issue here, then those things that you'd think somebody would do go out the window, and that's why we get the behavior. So
are they? And do you think they're getting that from? Okay, so are they getting that from? Is Ja getting told on the outside by his dad and whoever else? Is he getting told that, hey, just do this so that we can get the PR off our back and we can do or is he getting, hey, take a break, maybe go actually try and learn something from this? Like, do you know what I'm saying? That those are the two biggest differences. Like, is he getting that from his camp, or is he getting hey, you just gotta fucking go do this. So they'll give you 8 games and then you can get back out there and start playing again. Everything seems back to normal. That's not a good outtake. If that's what's going on, then he's fucked. He's fucked. Like, there's no way, like, those guys are just going to drive him, whoever it is, if it's his dad or whoever is just going to, his yes men are going to drive him into an early NBA grave. And that's just what it is. Is he getting,
and that's what I don't want to happen.
No, we don't want to, because it's such a bright, shining star that we want to keep watching, shoot out. And it's dangerous right now. Like, he could be fucking, he makes one wrong move now, he's fucked. Like, anything, rest of his career though, at this point, it's gonna go back to, like, remember in 2023, he was fucking.
Yeah, we're gonna hear if he makes any other mistakes in the future, that they're off the court issues. We're gonna hear constant reminders of this. And so he's got to keep his nose clean, man.
Every time he's out in public too now, dude. Every time he's out in public.
That jacket's going to be on him, even if it's not as much.
That's just going to be the whole time in his face. All the time. Better just, hey, Ja, when you go in public for the next at least 4 or 5 years, expect this. Whatever you do, bud, when you're outside of your house. And good luck with that. Good luck with all of your fucking, doing anything that can be kept private. Good luck. Because everybody's going to be all over you, my man. My man, they're going to be all over you. Just to get their little chunk from a radio station they can sell a fucking 15-second video of you drunk walking out of a bar from. They'll do it in a second.
Yep.
Somebody will clip you in that motherfucker. You can't go out anymore. You can't. Stay in your house.
He can, but he's got to change his entourage. He's got to change the people that are around him.
That's Red Lobster for a good bisque. For real. It's.
You can't do those things anymore. Like, he can go out to the club. He can go. If strippers is his thing, that's fine. He's got to change the circle around him though, because there are plenty of athletes that are able to do those things successfully without a problem. But they also have people around them that know how to that are there to keep control of the situation and not just tell Ja yes.
I'm not a strip club guy myself, Tony. They make me feel a little weird inside.
Yeah.
But if you were, nothing good happens in a strip club after 10 p.m. right? I mean, there's nothing
good
like,
happens in a strip
nothing really good and wholesome happening to you ever in a strip club. Like, there's never a thing that's like, yeah, I feel good about this. But like after 10 p.m. and you have that much money, there is nothing remotely good happening in a strip club after 10 p.m. So bring it back to your house. Ja, I'm actually wanting you to evolve now, Ja, and bring all of those parties into your own home. Do it like Jordan did it, under the radar and without public scrutiny. Okay, be a dirtbag, but be a dirtbag on your terms. You know, be a dirtbag on your terms. It's called the Jordan rule. You'll learn about it later.
All right, for those of you that have been watching with us, we appreciate you. Thank you for your support. Starting next week, episodes will be recorded, but they're still drop around the same time. Thursday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. We will see you Monday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. Sports Report right here. If you're seeing it here, you can see it then. We appreciate you, and we will see you next week.
We're doing recorded videos so that they can edit out parts that I say. I was told that by management.
That's 90% of the
Tony, reason. You're fucking in on it, aren't you?
It was
I asked you before the show if you were. Oh,